igniting innovation and also inspiring it, all under the name of sustainable economic development. Angihambi ngedwa ke namuhla, I'm Chuki Dlamini, ngihamba naye Mr. Neliswa Makhanya. Unjani Makhanya enyangeni yelithandwa Nkosi yami?
Ngiyaphila Nkosi, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. And feeling inspired already.
Of course. You know, it's a month of love. We are really excited. We are sharing love. And of course, at a day like this, where the Ministry of ICT has organized and pioneered such an important event whereby we are looking at three things, Chuki. STI, we're looking at science, we're looking at technology, we're looking at information today. We're looking at innovation, rather. A lot of things that are happening. There are a lot of people that are here, Chuki. We have students that are here to witness what is happening here and also to be inspired of what is happening right here. So it's really going to get exciting here.
Of course, it's going to be amazing. This is the Eswatini National Science Week 2025, and this whole week will be buzzing with nothing but exhilaration, with nothing but innovation, and I am super, super excited. So what we're going to do right now, we are going to cross over to the stage.
The eradication of cells, meiosis, mitosis, whatever you call it. At the age 90, he was called upon to defend his philosophy, but he couldn't because of age. But science still remains. That means science never fails. Science moves from generation to generation. Hence, today we are referring to innovation. Today, we are gathered in the country's main region, which is Manzini. That's where the national microscope arrived in the kingdom. That's where the first microscope is kept as we speak. If you have an interest, you can come to me. I can take you to where the first microscope that arrived in the country is kept. It's in the region. We are here to encourage new scientists, innovators, to take lead in economic gains. We welcome everyone in the region. This is a suitable region. We understand this is the first meeting of this nature, but to the organizers, kindly make Manzini. More so, it is fertile ground because we have the best or the good market you can think of to consume any product that you are producing. Manzini is the ideal place. Welcome to Manzini. Have a blessed day. Have blessed deliberations, all for the nation, all for sustainable development. Welcome. I thank you.
Thank you, Nkosi, for welcoming us into the Innovation Hub. We really feel inspired. We are also honored to host this event at the University of Eswatini, our national university, a hub of knowledge, creation, and innovation. To officially welcome us, I respectfully ask Prof. Twala to give us a few words of welcome. Welcome, Prof.
This year, we proudly embrace the theme, Igniting Curiosity, Inspiring Innovation, Science for Sustainable Economic Growth. This theme resonates deeply with our mission as an institution dedicated to education, research, innovation, entrepreneurship, and community engagement. Before I proceed with my remarks, allow me to preface my remarks by extending appreciation to the Permanent Ambassador to UNESCO in South Africa, Dr. Phil Mjwara, and the Acting Director General, Eswatini, for setting aside their busy schedules to grace this workshop. We are really short of words to express our joy for their presence. Maybe a round of applause will be in order. May I also thank the Minister of ICT for coming with this concept to host the workshop within the University of Eswatini, a workshop that is meant to recognize and promote science and innovation in the Eswatini National Science Week. As we gather to celebrate science, innovation, and technology, we are reminded of its transformative power in our daily lives and the vital role it plays in shaping the future of our nation and our world. Science is not just a collection of knowledge, it is a framework for inquiry that spurs creativity and innovation, and finally progress. It provides us with the very tools we need to address pressing challenges and seize new opportunities. In Eswatini, as in many parts of the world, we face a multitude of challenges that include climate change, food security, public health issues, and economic disparities, to name just a few. However, with these challenges comes opportunities for innovation and growth. And by fostering a culture of curiosity and supporting scientific research, we can develop solutions that not only address these issues, but also pave the way for sustainable economic growth. The Kingdom of Eswatini is not spared from these issues. Namely, we have currently a high HIV/AIDS burden amongst youth. Indeed, we have achieved and done very well as we have achieved our 95-95 target. But we are still sitting at 26% HIV infection amongst adults. And of course, we have persistent poverty, more especially amongst the youth, sitting at 60%, and of course, living below poverty line. And unemployment sitting at 48% for youth and 24% in overall. Slow economic diversification with high dependence on agriculture and climate change issues such as drought and deforestation, just to mention a few. In reality, our world is undergoing profound changes. As the previous speaker did present, we are from a COVID-19 pandemic, which has underscored the importance of robust health systems, and of course the impact of technology in crisis response, and the need for agility in our approaches. It has also highlighted the disparities that exist amongst populations and the urgent need to address these inequalities through targeted and inclusive initiatives. Science and innovation are amongst the most vital forces driving progress in our society. They represent advancement of knowledge and technology, but also embody a pathway to solving some of the challenges. And of course, the significance of science and innovation can be viewed through various lenses, including economic growth, societal benefits, and economic sustainability. Just to give you a few statistics to elaborate on that point, the USA has invested close to 3.1% of their GDP, which is close to 120 USD billion in renewable energies, and have experienced a growth rate of about 3%, unemployment rates of 3.6%, poverty rates less than 11.4%, and is ranked the third in the world in terms of the Global Innovation Index. Comparing with Eswatini, we have a growth rate of 1.2%, 40% poverty rate, close to 35% unemployment rate, and we are ranked 125 in terms of the Global Innovation Index. This indicates, ladies and gentlemen, the need to invest in science, innovation, and technology. It is hoped that the profile of the Kingdom of Eswatini in science, innovation, and technology will improve with the establishment of the Royal Science and Technology Park, drafting of a National Research Council bill, the establishment of the Kingdom of Eswatini Academy of Sciences, and various legislations and regulations that are meant to promote knowledge-based economic development. So the future is not that bleak. This week, as we engage in various activities, from thought-provoking lectures and workshops to engaging exhibition, we aim to ignite that very curiosity that leads to innovation. I encourage each of you to fully participate in exploration and discussions, ask questions, challenge assumptions, and collaborate with one another. The potential for new ideas emerges when diverse minds come together, united by a shared passion for science and discovery. Moreover, it is critical to remember that the intersection of science and sustainable economic growth is not just about technology or innovation in isolation. It's about integrating scientific discoveries into the fabric of our society. As we look to the future, it is our responsibility to ensure that our scientific endeavors are aligned with the principles of sustainability and inclusivity. Together, we can work towards solutions that respect the delicate balance of our environment while fostering economic development. Let us embrace this opportunity to inspire one another as we explore the wonders of science. May this National Science Week be a catalyst for dialogue, collaboration, and innovation that propels us towards brighter and more sustainable future for Eswatini and beyond. In closing, may I express my gratitude to everyone who has worked tirelessly to organize the Science Week events. Your dedication and passion for science and education are truly inspiring. Together, let us ignite curiosity, inspire innovation, and pave the way for sustainable economic growth through the power of science. Thank you, and let us officially begin the National Science Week. May the good Lord bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Twala, for such an inspiring speech. I think the key elements that should be covered as we move forward with technology and innovation were comprehensive in your speech. Inclusivity, we don't want to leave anyone behind because if we move in silos or we move as a fraction and leave everyone behind, we are not moving at all. And also, you with digital natives that we are raising up now, it is very, very easy for them to fit into this innovation and technology era, the 4IR that we are currently in. Science and technology are the backbone of any thriving economy. But for that to happen, we must have a very, very strong national system of innovation. To give us a deeper understanding of Eswatini's national system of innovation, we'll ask Dr. Masego, the Director of Research, Science, Technology and Innovation, to provide a brief overview. Welcome, Dr. Masego.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Mine is to maybe start by appreciating our ICT portfolio committees. It's unbelievable. Both houses are here, led by the chairs. Her Royal Highness from the Senate. I can see our members from the Senate, they are here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And also from the House of Assembly, I can see Babendlov, uvele wabethwala wathi hayi asambeni njengemhla yonke. We are not taking it lightly. I know that most members of parliament, as it is now, nabatfola nje lithutyana baya etinkundleni bayobuka ukuthi ngabe kwendekani siyati mningi imisebenzi yelive. We are not taking it for granted. Ngidawucela nje ngenhlonipho lenkulu sibashayele tandla. Doc, Mjwara, I think we are now kind of overtaking. I know in all international meetings, you come with your members of parliament, particularly the chairs. We are starting small. Very soon in those international meetings, you will see a situation where our chairs from both houses, they will be leading in the panel discussions. They will be giving presentations like it is the case in your country. Yes, Acting Director Mangwen, we really appreciate you. We have seen also that we have a teachable spirit, because you always remind us that there is no way you can transform to knowledge-based economy when you're leaving the politicians behind, because at the end of the day, there must be buy-in from the politicians. Thus, we appreciate the fact that you said, I'm coming to see indeed if you are good students, if indeed you are relaying the message to the to the politicians, so you can see. You will give the minister a good report. Yes, thank you, VC. Thank you so much. Also, let me not name you one by one because you have already been recognized, but above all, to our stakeholders, had it not been for you, this event would not have been a success like it promises to be. So we really appreciate your presence here. I can see people from all walks of life, from all the regions, from Wovo, I can see Manzini, I know most of them, Manzini region, I can see Shiselweni, I can see Lubombo, I can see. Thank you so much even to the students, we really appreciate that. Actually, my presentation has been covered by Prof. Twala. So upon realizing that we don't have much time, mine is just to say, As a department, as a ministry, as government, we are committed to creating an enabling environment. I think we all know that the role of government is to create an enabling environment. I think you all know that citizens also have a role to play. You know, when the going gets tough, I always remind myself that, all right, it's okay to say, what has government done for us? But the million-dollar question, what have you done for government? What have you done for the country? I'm glad that we are here to witness your initiatives, your innovations, your projects. We are here to hear more from our stakeholders in the STI sector and science, technology, and innovation sector. We are here to hear from you. What do you want in terms of the direction, in terms of the innovations? Which ones do we have to prioritize? And as we will be looking around, we will know which one needs urgent incubation, because remember, science must work for society. We don't want any of our initiatives as researchers, as students, as innovators. We don't want to say it's in the archives, it's there, come and see what I've done. We would have failed the country. The best way of doing it, let us pitch our ideas so that industries can kind of see what the country is capable of doing, so that maybe in the near future they can stop importing technology. So remember, we have to start somewhere. Whether you call it Hong Kong, whether you call it whatsoever, but remember, in science, copying is allowed. There is what we call incremental innovation. It doesn't have to be radical. Incremental innovation, whereby you just add a bit, then it becomes our own innovation. Then we protect it. We have the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which is responsible for protecting our intellectual property. So as we move around, just let's not compete. Let's see if there is a project from the Shiseleni region, from students, from out-of-school youth. Let's see what can we do together to improve that project, so that at the end of the day, the country benefits. Remember, I have one thing that maybe I need to share with our stakeholders as a researcher. You cannot do it alone. With science, with research, it doesn't work like that. There is no competition. Actually, I know in our university they are yet to introduce that performance management system. As you report, there is a section where you are required to indicate who are you collaborating with. Who are your partners? If then this keeps on happening, you will agree with me, Director General, that the next round you won't find that person who is saying, I'm doing research alone. Actually, we are even moving from STEM to STEAM. We are saying even scientists, the traditional scientists, they cannot do it alone. We need arts. Because this is what is going to lead to incremental innovation. I might have this, but as soon as I'm creative, I give it another shape, then it's something different that we can say is ours. So thus, I know that one of our deliverables after this National Science Week, the first of its kind, and remember, I've always reminded our stakeholders, us, it's for the first time. Other countries is an annual event. Hence, even for us, we are saying it's going to be an annual event. I think we need to clap hands for ourselves as a country. Thank you. Another reminder, and I'm not sure, but it's directed to me also, particularly our politicians. University is basic definition for a university: research, community service, then teaching and learning. If these three things, basic things, are happening, then it is, we can safely say, yeah, we have a university, especially that will compete very well at international and regional level. But as a country, we have been, we've made one mistake, but I'm glad we're out of that. Over 50 years ago, our King Sobhuza II, in 1972 said, we need a National Research Council. We need to transform our economy. And we need to ensure that we have an institution that is going to take care of innovation, take care of researchers, take care of postgraduate students. Want to remind our policymakers, I want to remind our stakeholders in the country, you fund your own your studies when you are at master's and PhD level. But we want to transform to knowledge-based economy. And I'm glad we want to transform to knowledge-based economy. And remember, transformation to knowledge-based economy, it needs capacity. You must build capacity. Deliberately so. In my presentation, I had a slide, like Prof has rightfully said, the first world countries, the countries which are doing very well in terms of GDP, on average, they contribute 3% towards the funding of research, of R&D. It's coming from government. South Africa, if my memory serves me well, you are at 0.7%. Already at regional level, you are leading. Just imagine if we can take it from 0.32%, because we are currently there, just to 0.5. There is a lot we can achieve as a country. Having said that, we have our Royal Science and Technology Park. It's ready to incubate an idea, innovative idea. And we have students, you will see, entrepreneurs who have graduated last year. Amazing projects, but they need our support. They need an institution that is going to take that initiative to another level. So thus, we are pleading for support. Those who have an opportunity to be in those areas where an ordinary Swazi cannot be, whether it's international or just let's make sure we share the message. We need partnerships. Industries, wow. Thank you so much. This event wouldn't have been a success if it was not for you. We have a lot of them. Our acting minister is going to appreciate them. But we need more. According to our research, we've done innovation surveys, we've done R&D surveys 2 times. It's clearly indicated that our industries are not participating in research. Do you know how much we can benefit as a country if just one industry says, like it is happening now, thanks to the sugar companies, if you sponsor just one master's student to say, do research and see how we can add value to our products, you have not only increased profits for yourself, but you have built capacity. You have also contributed to the economy of the country. Because when we're doing the innovation survey, some industries were saying, no, we don't have time for you. You try to send emails. No. We don't have time for you. But we are saying, please come to the party. In our policy, there are going to be incentives once it's approved by our cabinet. I'm referring to the revised science, technology, and innovation policy. There are going to be incentives because you will agree with me, Director General, that you are motivating industries to say, contribute to R&D. And when we went there to benchmark, it's clear you find that government is only
you to have the royal experience.
Lalela sikutshele dindzaba yetibuye enkosini uyeswana ninebe kunene kulandzela simemetelo semaganu samhla ka7 emakhosi sabusise emalanga lamasha kuyo indlovane uSokandaba lutsango lonke lakawowo aliphele sigodlweni ebuhleni mhla tingamashumi 21 yosi mhla tingamashumi 22 engomeni yakhe mhla tingamashumi 23 ayachithwa amabutho ophezu kwemkhono usho njalo Mswati lomnyama kubakala uthuli ulo dumanda basembelebeleni ulo dumanda basemambondweni ayethe wena phaka
Dive into a thriving and diverse art scene. Simply follow our hosts in Artsy Africa.
Come with me.
6 African cities, so many voices. What attracted me was the large canvas for expression. These artists are reshaping how we see contemporary art. Artsy Africa,
Have a look.
the vibrant series on DW.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.sz. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You are worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. You ask, and we give you the royal experience. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. There are but a few places on earth so special, so unique, and so spectacular, where it becomes the rite of passage for the ambitious travelers, the courageous souls, to all have the one and only royal experience. That day when you look deep into your heart and leap into an ancient world so very different from your own, where magic, beauty, and love are shared forever. Then you will have a royal experience. There is just one place on earth where the people make you feel a part of their kingdom, where you just might volunteer to awaken spirits, enrich minds, and work alongside communities to build, motivate, and inspire. This is truly the royal experience. When you dream of a different world, beyond the ordinary, beyond time, discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
The best league in the world.
Now he's in a strange position. Haaland.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. You ask, and we give you the royal experience. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. There are but a few places on earth so special, so unique.
lalela sikutshele tindzaba letibuye enkosini uyeswana ninebe kunene kulandzela simemetelo semaganu samhla ka7 emakhosi sabusise emalanga lamasha kuyo indlovane uSokandaba lutsango lonke lakawowo aliphele sigodlweni ebuhleni umhla tingamashumi lamabili nalunye kuyothi mhla tingamashumi lamabili nakubili engomeni yakhe umhla tingamashumi lamabili natintsatfu ayachithwa amabutho bophezu kwemkhono usho njalo umswati lomnyama kubakala uthuli ulo dumanda basembelebeleni ulo dumanda basemampontweni bayethe wena phakathi bayethe wena phakathi.
My name is Gcina Vilagati. All protocol observed. Ngivile babala bantu ngetigaba tabo. I will just present a topic here. When I saw the program, there was groundbreaking research. Unfortunately, I saw it after preparing my presentation, so I couldn't pick the top notch. I'm just going to present what I already have here. My topic has to do with the recovery of phosphorus from wastewater sludge. But as a policy from my department, I cannot just talk about this without introducing the department first. So in the department, if you can look at that picture there, most of the members of the department, they are young. We are in the early 40s, late 30s and stuff like that. That means there is potential within the Department of Chemistry. So when you look at the sections or the thematic areas that we have, We have water quality, we have water and wastewater treatment technologies, we have minerals and micronutrients analysis in food, and we also have natural products and organic synthesis. So when we talk about water quality, the department has had some research. One of those included model development. You know, when you have to go to a river to monitor water quality, sometimes you don't have all the equipment that you may need. So they developed a method that if you may measure one of the components, you may be able to determine the rest of the components. So that's one of the things that we've done. And through collaboration with the Eswatini Water Services Corporation, we have looked at issues of chemical oxygen demand. We also looked at issues of color, because I understand that there's been some complaints somewhere around the country where people are complaining about issues of color. So we've collaborated with Eswatini Water Services Corporation in that regard, and we also did a little bit of analysis on the presence of pesticides in rivers and in food products. I must tell you that you'll be surprised to find that we do have pesticides in rivers. Now more so because asisahlakule emakhaya sesiyafutha. So we have high prevalence of pesticides in rivers. We also have staff members who are looking into the development of certain methods. Some of these methods, they have to do with the analysis of pharmaceuticals in waters. Some, they have to do with the analysis of beauty care products. But as we do so, we contaminate our waters. Recently, there have been issues of microplastics, and we also have issues of antimicrobial resistance, which we are also looking at. I remember when I was a student, we were doing monitoring of the Great Usutu River from Punya to Big Bend. That kind of research is still continuing even today. My slide is not moving anymore. Oh. Okay. So we also looked at issues of water reuse. If you can go to any treatment plant within Swaziland, you will realize that for drinking water purposes, they sometimes use sand for the filtration of the water, for the removal of the particulate matter within the water. So within the department, we have set up some columns which, when we mix with some other components, for example, ash, sometimes they may use these eggshells to maximize the removal of some metals within water. And we also look at issues of membrane technology in the removal of certain pollutants in water. There's a project that we are doing with the Eswatini Water Services Corporation. It has to do with the beneficiation of wastewater sludge. Maybe we can first beneficiate it as manure, or we can use it as biochar, or we can use it for energy. But for now, we have started a project on the beneficiation of sludge as a biochar. So there's another research that has to do with the analysis of food products. There is this plant that I've learned about. It's called Vuga. I think it raises things in other people. So our friends, EMIP, they can clearly do that, do the analysis of that kind of product and see what is the potent constituent of that plant. We also do phytochemical screening. Sometimes we extract bacterial from plants, functionalize it with the aim of having it as an antimicrobial agent. Now, coming back to my topic. My topic has to do with the recovery of, waste, the recovery of phosphorus from wastewater sludge. If you go to any treatment plant, you will find that there are some heaps and heaps of wastewater sludge that is just sitting there. And sometimes there's leaching that occurs, and it goes down to rivers. All treatment plants, they are located near rivers. So if you are downstream and there's a leakage, definitely you are getting whatever that is coming from there. And again, if I remember very well, the price of fertilizer is somewhere around 800. I'm not sure about now, but it's somewhere around 800. So this kind of research is coming in to bridge that gap, because we have some other alternatives. We have some heaps of sludge that is staying there, but we have an expensive fertilizer. So we can be able to use membrane technology, indeed, to extract or to recover some of the nutrients that you will find in fertilizer. Maybe before I continue, let me talk about membranes in general. So many people, they think a membrane is just a sieve. So if you have a smaller particle, and then the pores allow the smaller particle to pass through, that is fine, that is correct. But that is not always the case. Sometimes you find that a particular membrane has a hydrophobic surface. That means it doesn't like water. So if you were to allow some hydrophobic or some hydrophilic molecules to go towards that membrane, they will be rejected because of that kind of electrostatic attraction. But if the membrane is hydrophobic and you allow hydrophobic molecules to pass through, the membrane is going to allow those, even though the pore size may be bigger or smaller. So it's not just about the pore size, it's about fine-tuning the surface of the membrane so that it can allow or disallow certain particles. So now, even here, some of the membranes can be made to be charged. If a membrane, for example, is negatively charged on the surface, it won't allow easily negative ions to go through. But if that particular membrane is negatively charged, it will allow positive ions to be attracted to the membrane, and if you apply enough pressure, those positive ions will pass through to the other side of the membrane. So now, when we decided to make a membrane, we wanted to make a membrane. There is part one of the study. It's called the fabrication of the membrane. We wanted to make a membrane that is hydrophilic. By hydrophilic, I mean a membrane that likes water. So if you put a drop of water on it, the drop of water just goes through. So we also want a membrane that doesn't foul. So the mere fact that it's hydrophilic, that means organic pollutants, they don't sit on the membrane. They just stay floating. And then we want to operate that membrane at a very low pressure, which is 1 bar. So if I may make an example, your tire pressure, if you have a car, is around 2.2 bars. So 1 bar is almost similar to whatever pressure that we are experiencing in the atmosphere. So also want a membrane that is able to reject or to remove 90% of a particular substance that is less than 100 or probably around 10 nanometers. So with that, we were able to communicate whatever that we were doing into a publication. And if I were to show you, this is the membrane that we were making. So the top part is the one that is responsible for the removal of the pollutants. And then this one, where you can see, it has some large, they call it macrovoids. They are just there to support the top part. So we also looked at some studies because we wanted the membrane to be hydrophilic. So we looked at some studies. If it takes up water, so So that kind of membrane is the one that we want. And also look at the pore sizes of the membrane, because it has to do with the pore sizes, the charge of the membrane, and everything on the surface. So we discovered that the sizes of the membrane, if you can look at the x-axis here, it's around, the pore sizes, they range around 5 nanometer to about 100 nanometers, which is ideal for our purpose. And now, we also looked at fouling. Fouling is just a measure of how the membrane allows particles to sit on it. We discovered that this membrane, they don't allow. The membrane, this one that we had, where we use just the polymer, there is a little bit of some fouling. The flux that we want, it reduces as we move along with time, and then the other membrane, which is the optimal one, which is the 0.3%, is the one that we chose for this particular project. And then now we have to go to part 2. So this is actually the interesting part. This is where now, if you agree that we have the membrane already, so now we have to look at pre-concentration. So we determined from our preliminary studies that the amount of phosphorus, nitrogen, or even potassium in wastewater sludge is very low compared to the fertilizer that we know. So what we have to do now, we have to pre-concentrate it. What do I mean by that? Is that we are going to put in the sludge here. Of course, we have to first digest it into a liquid form. We have to put in the sludge here, you apply some pressure in this chamber, and then pure water will go out, leaving more ions or more nitrogen, more phosphorus to remain within this chamber. So then we have to take out that concentrate, and then we do what we call a precipitation. This is called the formation of a struvite. A struvite is this complex here, which has ammonium, and it also has phosphorus. In other words, it has nitrogen and it has phosphorus. How does this occur? We know that in wastewater sludge, there are so many things that you can find there. You can find magnesium, you can find ammonium, you can find phosphate, you can find so many other characteristics that you may not need. But when you introduce, because you may find that sometimes there is less magnesium there's less magnesium in the wastewater that we are using. So one of the challenges that we discovered here is that if you go and sample wastewater sludge, you'll find that you have so much of potassium today. If you go tomorrow, you'll find that you have less or you have more. So it's inconsistent. So one of the ways is to make our own phosphorus and nitrogen by the formation of this struvite. And then from there, what we are going to do, we are going to do some testing before and after the precipitation to find out how much of the phosphorus we have. So what does this mean? It means if you are from Shengu or Londunduma or wherever you are, there is a school, and the school has about 500 students. The fact that you can urinate, the fact that you can do number 2, well, this is what, when we talk about sludge, that's what we are talking about here. That means you have fertilizer in your hands. So let's make an example. If you're in a school, there's a bathroom, which is separated from, let's say, number 2 and number 1. You urinate, you collect, and then you precipitate. One of the ways is to allow it to evaporate, the water to evaporate. In this case, we use membranes, but you can allow the water to evaporate somewhere, and then you do the precipitation, which is going to give you the struvite that we are talking about. So when you go to those rural areas, even the urban areas, we have enough. In other countries, you find that it's separate. The sludge is not mixed. So if it's not mixed, it's even easier because you don't have to go into trouble thinking that there are some other things that you may not want there. But that phobia has to, I don't know how I can emphasize this, people must learn to accept that whatever excreta they are taking out, it's okay. It's nature. If you can have guavas next to a, what is this thing that we have at home, and then they're very nice, can't you eat those? Of course you can, but unless they tell you that there is this thing next to it, then you can try and say, you don't have any issues. It's very minimal, the amount of phosphorus, the amount of heavy metals that you can find from that particular tree. So with this research, I think, because it's still in the process, let me challenge the youth to go and do, especially the part 2 that I was talking about. You don't even have to have membranes. You can evaporate whatever that you have at home and try and make sure and find out, because we can do the analysis for you. You try and find out if you can have enough fertilizer or phosphorus or nitrogen in your straw fight. I would like to thank the University of Eswatini and some collaborators from the University of South Africa who, of course, we use them to characterize some of the materials that we make. And we also thank the students and also the co-authors from other places. So now that my presentation is it's over, I'm on time. So let me introduce again the Department of Chemistry. I put this slide at the end so that it doesn't eat into my time. The department has been challenged because if you look at the analysis that we do, there is so much expertise and so much potential in the department. It has been challenged to assist the nation in the analysis of some of these environmental pollutants that are available. And looking at the instrumentation that we have, and of course recently through our dedicated staff members, we received an instrument called a GCMS, a very expensive one. And we have to do analysis for the public. We haven't spoken to the authorities of the university, but I must say that with the knowledge that we have gained over time, in the near future, it may be tomorrow, next week, or next year, we are going to come to you as our stakeholders. We want to assist you to do your analysis. So the department is capable and is willing and able to assist you. I will thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Vui Swamkabela from Eswatini Medical Christian University. I'm a senior lecturer and researcher in the pharmacy department. And I'm not sure if this is going to work. Next slide. The contents of my presentation focused on the introduction, methodology, results, conclusion, and acknowledgements. We're working on, sorry, I forgot to say, we're working on an aloe-based hydrogel for wound application. Next slide. Introduction. So the care of wounds is still a great concern regardless of persistent evolution in global health. And most African families remain destitute because their healthcare services are paid out of pocket. Most families do not have medical aid. The cost of managing wounds in different healthcare systems around the world is very high and estimated to be billions of dollars in the developed world. Next slide is a table showing the estimated wound care costs estimated in 2019. They are in international US dollars, billions, okay? First up is United States, which they spent an estimate of about 127 billion US dollars on wound care only. And then down, we can see Eswatini. And then consider that Eswatini we have a very small population, so these figures could still be very high. Next slide. The traditional wound care dressings that that are common are your bandages and the topical ointments. And these have some disadvantages, okay? They are unable to maintain a moist wound environment, which is now considered a prerequisite to optimal wound healing. They tend to adhere to the wound band, causing trauma. They can act as a source of infection if not changed regularly. They might also cause loss of granulation tissue if the dressings are changed too frequently. And in the most complex types of wounds, you always require a secondary dressing. Next slide. Okay. So you might be asking yourself, what is a hydrogel? So hydrogels are also known as hybrid gels. They are a form of gel material that incorporates multiple components into the gel matrix to achieve enhanced properties and functionalities. So in the hydrogel, you may have antimicrobial agents incorporated into the gel matrix, antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agents, growth factors, analgesic drugs, and also nanoparticles, which are strategies to enhance the transdermal drug delivery. Next slide. In this project, we used aloe and a natural polymer called chitosan to prepare our hydrogel. We used two aloe species found in Eswatini, Aloe arborescens and Aloe maculata. And the choice of chitosan was because it is known to have antimicrobial properties. It is an antioxidant. It blends easily in formulations. It is abundantly available, and it is green. That means it's biodegradable, biocompatible, and eco-friendly. And of course, it's a sustainable material. We used a physical cross-linking technique when we were preparing the hydrogel. So we connected the chitosan polymer chains with the aloe through hydrogen bonding and Van de Waals forces, which are non-chemical, means I won't get into deep chemistry on that. And then through this method, the hydrogels exhibit remarkable mechanical strength, is reduced toxicity, superior biocompatibility, and lesser environmental impact. Okay. To analyze our materials, we first did a phytochemical screening test. I hope you are on the methodology analysis. Yes, thank you. We did phytochemical screening tests, and these were done to determine the chemical constituents in the aloe extracts. And then on the hydrogels, we did percentage fluid absorptivity to assess the ability of the hydrogels to absorb water. We did percentage gel fraction, that was to determine the solubility of the hydrogels. And lastly, we did antibacterial studies, which were investigated by conducting microbial susceptibility tests on 2 bacterial strains E. coli, and S. aureus. Okay, the results, we're able to identify the phytochemicals as shown, flavonoids, terpenoids, saponins, tannins, etc., in both aloe species that we used when preparing the hydrogel. With limited facilities at our institutions, we still require further analysis to quantify and confirm the specific phytochemicals in the aloe species. Hopefully, we'll be able to use the expensive GCMS mentioned by the previous speaker at the UNESCO Chemistry Department. Next slide. Okay, so these components found in the aloe with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, cell signaling factors. All these are properties that improve wound healing. Next slide. The results, these are the results that we got for testing the water absorption capacity of the hydrogels. And what we noted was that the hydrogels prepared with aloe arborescens showed overall better water absorption capacity. And then hydrogels in wound healing, they act as an absorbent of exudant. Exudant is the fluids that come out of wounds, such as your chronic wounds or burn wounds. Okay. And if you have carrier drugs incorporated, remember I said hydrogels, we incorporate a lot of components that improve the biological functionality. So with that, if the water absorption capacity is good, then the hydrogel will be enabled to release carrier drugs to protect applied area from moisture and microorganisms. Next slide. And then when we were testing for solubility, we observed that hydrogels prepared with aloe maculata exhibited better properties than the hydrogels prepared with aloe arborescens. And generally, the higher the solubility of the hydrogel, the higher the quality. A good characteristic for medical applications, as good water solubility materials tend to release loaded drugs quickly. Next slide. And the diagrams just show the microbial susceptibility tests of one of the hydrogels, which was prepared using aloe maculata. Generally, the antibacterial activity was higher as the aloe content was increased in the hydrogels. And then the increased antibacterial activity was attributed to the phytochemicals that were identified when screening the aloe extracts. And a higher susceptibility was observed for E. coli bacteria as compared to the S. aureus bacteria. Okay, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on this project. Conclusion, we need to do further analysis. Hopefully UNESCO can help with us, with their instrumentation, the HPLC, GCMS, FTIR. We need that to confirm and quantify the phytochemicals that are present in the aloe species. And we also need to do surface morphology of the hydrogels. And we are in the process of formalizing a collaboration with CSIR in Pretoria. That's the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. I did my PhD there, so they could probably help us. They've got state-of-the-art equipment that we could use. And then we are also looking into optimizing our hydrogel, probably by cross-linking with other natural polymers. We'll compare which sustainable materials. And we also need to do cell culture and animal model studies to see if the hydrogel actually works. And then finally, prototype development, and we're hoping to do pilot biomanufacturing. CSIR is open to assisting us with that. This work has been presented in an international conference, the Pan-Africa Chemistry Network Congress, which was in October 2024 at the University of Nairobi, Kenya. I was sponsored by the Royal Society of Chemistry for the trip to Nairobi. We also have a publication, a research article that was published in December on this project. Then I would like to acknowledge our level 4 pharmacy students, the outgoing group, who collected the data on this project, and our pharmacy laboratory technicians who were always there to help the students. And we have medical laboratory science students who assisted us with the antibacterial studies. This project is funded by the UNESCO Organization for Women in Science in the Developing World. I was amongst 28 women in 2023 who were awarded the OWSD Early Career Fellowship, and it was the first for Eswatini. These are the references. Thank you. Those are the references for my presentation, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Filagati. Thank you, Dr. Mkhabela. Those were real examples of how science can solve our problems, improve livelihoods, and also in the long run, if we support research, we can see its potential in driving sustainable economic growth. I think our researchers here in Eswatini, bakhuthele kakhulu, but there are other things that the director did touch upon, which we really need so that they can move forward and be very, very active in research and publish and bring about these innovations that you are looking for to solve our real life problems that we face as a Maswati. Okay, we are going to move forward now and look at the next session, where we are looking at how we can add value to our resources, our natural resources. If we add value, we're expecting that the price obviously will go up. We're going to make more profits. So I have a few which I will call upon. They are going to try to explain to us how they have added value to some of the products that they have manufactured. So I will call first Dr. Sbanze, who's going to give us a presentation. There is also BSA, there is Sanzi Dlamini. Can I quickly ask you to maybe come to the podium? Please don't kill me. It's just 3 minutes per speaker. Okay. And also, Ministry of Sports and Culture, our representative from Ministry of Sports and Culture, can you please take the podium?
A very good afternoon. Is it good morning still? I want to observe all protocol. I have been warned. I have a few minutes. I'm going to try and do justice to the presentation that I prepared for 10 minutes and try and put it in 3 minutes, I've been told. But I wonder if that's justice. As I've been introduced, my name is Gugu Sbanze. I'm a researcher here at the University of Eswatini. I am presenting this work as part of the work that we are doing at the Eswatini Institute for Research in Traditional Medicine, Medicinal and Indigenous Food Plants. I am going to try to do justice, but also try to keep the time that I've been allocated. Our focus is, the focus of today's presentation is what we are doing to add value to Eswatini's indigenous knowledge. And so the Institute, I wish I had time and I wish I could sell the Institute because that's what I would have loved to do rather than the project. But the Institute is resident here at the Kwaluseni campus of the University of Eswatini. It was established in 1998. And we have been doing research. Our mandate really has been to do relevant research and innovation in traditional medicine and indigenous plants. So that is mainly our focus, but we have tended to also extend it to other areas involving natural products. So this is, in summary, maybe what we do. We undertook work since the 1980s to document Eswatini's indigenous knowledge. The researchers that were there had several publications just telling us what we have, particularly as it relates to traditional medicine and indigenous plants. What we have, what are we using it for, just to preserve that knowledge. So that has been part of our work. And we also have been involved in trying to understand the plants that we have in Eswatini. You know, you can't say you've got treasure when you actually don't know what it is. So we've investigated these plants, looking at their phytochemical components, and also looking at their biological activities. What can they do in your body so that we can use them? Remember, the premise has been that these are plants that we are using either as traditional medicines or we are using as food. So we want to understand them. And then we have also now ventured into a new space where we are formulating the products from our indigenous knowledge. So we are taking the knowledge that we have, if we partner with a knowledge holder, and sometimes it's just products of science. And we are also now looking at plants. We are also looking at conserving these indigenous plants. You can't have a sustainable use if you do not think about conservation. So that is also what we do. We have a farm in Mafuteni where we are propagating the ones that we think need to be propagated, and also just to preserve the genetic resource. And now this is where my presentation really is rested, where we are looking at adding value to traditional medicine. So in the context, we are looking at what science can do when you marry it with indigenous knowledge. So that this is where now the reference to, or our relevance to the National Science Week, because the team that works on this mostly are scientists. So we are looking at what science. Sorry about that. That's just a banner falling. So traditionally, this is what you will find in a multi-market. If you go out to Manzini, this is likely what you will find as traditional medicine. We are selling this. It's either already processed or we are selling it as dry plant material. If it's processed, it's likely bottled in and not properly branded. A bottle is normally in water extracts. And what we are trying to do is to go from there to a product that we can now add value to. Adding value means that you can now gain more out of that product. You probably would have sold that, maybe a bottle for 50 rands or 20, I don't know. But this product now can sell for more because we've added value and we've used science now to transform the product from here to there. I'm going to tell this through a story of a product that we are working on. It's called Virovita. Virovita is a registered trademark in Eswatini now. And this product is a product of traditional medicine. We met a traditional healer 10, 12 years ago, 2010. And it was during our ethnobotanical surveys, we were just documenting the knowledge. They had an interesting formulation that they were using at the time. Because of resource constraints, we didn't explore that. It was knowledge in a shelf. Fast forward 2022, 2021, basically, SADC put out a call for grants, and we participated in that call together with our collaborators in this project, which was the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research in South Africa and a university in Zimbabwe called Harare Institute of Technology. And we got the grants. And that is what enabled us to transform what would have typically been this to a product that now has a brand, that has quality tested, that is safe because we had to do science, and that is efficacious. So I just wanted to highlight that. It's a very snapshot of the project, but I wanted to give you a taster. Perhaps you can join us in the regional events. We have got a longer session where we are going to be discussing how anyone who wants to move from there, particularly our innovators, to the product that we now showcase as Virovita. Virovita comes in the form of capsules or a liquid for pediatric use or other groups that cannot take capsules. So we've done a formulation that is both capsule and now that means it's got a longer shelf life already, because remember, traditionally I would probably have done that in a 2-liter bottle and you would have had to carry that and you have to go to airport control. Can you imagine security control at the airport? You've got your 2-liter bottle there. You have to put it in your luggage. What if it's time for you to have it and you're on a long flight to the US, but it's still in your luggage there because it can't be in your hand luggage? So Virovita allows us that traditional medicine that you would not have been able to take with you after its innovation and transformation, you get that. So I just wanted to quickly go to this. These are the benefits that we think if we use science to interface with indigenous knowledge, we can reap as a country. We can develop high value-added products. That's the first thing. I've already mentioned that. There is higher economic gain, so we need to invest in facilities that can help us do that. We can ensure quality, safety, and efficacy that is backed by scientific data. Everybody wants to know, is it safe? What will happen if I eat it? So that scientific data can provide us with that assurance of safety, quality, and efficacy. Also in this product, I mentioned that Virovita is a trademark that has been registered. You can then protect your indigenous knowledge. And you can have products that are extending to a wider population. Now, Virovita once registered, and we can now export it to other countries because it would have met the quality standards. So what we are doing now, we are in the process of registering this traditional medicine. But unfortunately, SADC funds, they came to an end. And so now we have a potential that is sitting at who wants to pitch for investment. So this is the team that has worked on the project. I want to thank you very much.
All protocols observed. Standing before you is Sandisile. I am the first girl and still the only girl in Eswatini to make a moving car from scratch. I'm just here to talk to the students, motivate them and inspire them that they can do it, because I also did it. My car was inspired by the famous Tesla, because I've always wanted a Tesla, but we can't get it here in Swaziland as yet. So I was like, oh, let me just make my own Tesla from scratch. Except my car doesn't use electricity. I decided to make it from scratch using, the whole point of the car was to use magnets. You see, in that way you're saving petrol, right? Right? Who doesn't want to save petrol? Who doesn't want to save money on petrol? I don't want to pay petrol the day I get a car. It was also cost efficient, easy to maintain as well. The whole point of the car was magnifying it and electrifying it using magnets, but I ended up using DC motors. I used recycled material. I'm talking from scratch. I made the car. I almost lost my mind, but because of the burning desire inside me, as Napoleon Hill says about burning desire, that you just need purpose and the knowledge of definition of what you want, and then you just pursue it. And that's what I did. To the students, we really like to thank the science department of Eswatini, because the Science Week, the science regional and national competitions are what inspire us to go out there and do what we know best. I am an innovator, I'll die an innovator. I just recently found out there are competitions happening, and I was like, I'm just going there. I'm going to compete, because there are so many projects I want to do. There are so many innovations that are sitting there in my box. And once they say there are competitions, I just go for it so that I showcase my plan. Whatever you want to do, if you want to invent a flying pen, if you want to invent a flying shoe, whatever you want to do, it's possible as long as you put your mind into it and you tell yourself, I'm going to do this. My classmates never believed me when I told them that I'm going to make this car. They were like, oh, you've started with your crazy things. Because the year before, I had made an alarm mat that wakes you up in the morning. So they were like, oh, you started with your crazy ideas. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to prove them wrong, really. And I did prove them wrong. I made this car from scratch. And I'd like to thank the science department and write a petition so that even if I'm 30, I'm able to compete, because I have a lot of ideas. Thank you.
Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Standing forward is Andile Dlamini, presenting BSA under the Manzini branch. So my colleagues and I have ventured into making cars. I need them to come up front to show you the models we've made. So, these are the type of cars you used to make while growing up, but we have added some meticulous designs to them. They come with the hood, they come with the fuse, they come with the relay, etc. We've also used LED light. What makes this type of car good for production is your child can be equipped to learn about technicals and mechanicals from a younger age. Once you start that innovation in a child while he or she is young, you are determined to make sure that child's future will be guaranteed from that perspective. Right now, please, can you wait for them while they come? So please acknowledge that we've also used recycled material to make this. What? Oh, but I'm going to be to the stage. Martin, can you take it to the stage? That's the, oh, I am. It's like the cars won't move. My presentation ends here. Thank you.
Nginevusile nonke ekhathi endlini igama lami ngingamethe Thando. Ngila ndo presenter imotolo lesiyivusile sibafunzi baka auto electrical igatsha lase BSA. Shothi lena imotolo lenzala mbamba futhi. Igama layo imotolo Toyota Vintage. Lena imotolo lesiyikhanze ingahambi ingadumi ingenti lutho bekungile body yayo bese sekuba letinsimbi tangekhathi engineini ngekubambisana nathishela kanye nabo bonke bafunzi sikhonile kuyihlanganisa sayivusa le motolo. No kona bekulikhoni iqiniso lihle akukabi melula but ke anything is possible sonke siyade. Besidibana nawo ema challenges lafana nekwekuthi ema parts ayo imotolo njengoba eyinzala aswatholi kuma space aswatholi nakuletinye imotolo letinzala lebesingafuna kito ngalezafu sekuthi ayikho imotolo lenjengato noma ayitholakali melula. But ke ngeke improvise sikhonile kwenda konke lokho. Bulikhuni lesidibene nabo sayisebenta imotolo sikhanze ukuthi ayinantambo ayidumi but ke nyalo konke seyiyakwenda iyahamba nasemgaqweni. Le motolo lengikhuluma ngayo akusiyo ukuthi imotolo lengishiye esikolweni noma imotolo lengisite nangisuka ngayo le enhla insabeni tasengwenya yahamba yafela endleleni. Cha, ikhona bandla ila ngaphandle nje nawujika lamnyango uthi ngicela ukuvetana lokho ukuthi lofuna ukuyibona ukhulekile lofuna ukushuthela ke ngeke ngimbhadalisa ngeke bonkosi ikhona ila ngaphandle nawufuna kushutha uvumelekile nawufuna ngena ngekhathi inkinga anginayo mina nginemusa ndawuphinza ngicizelele akukabi melula. Yebo kona kubelikhoni kusithethe isikhathi but ke ngekubambisana nayo i-management yethu nebaphathi nathishela sikhonile kukuhlanganisa konke lebe singakudinga sisayisebenta. Ndawugcina lapho kwamanje ngiphinze ngicizelele lofunawo nalofisile kushuthelane kuyibona uvumelekile ila ngaphandle nje nawujika leli kona leli. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Linda Masego. I live at Bulshebuyeza, there in the Madlangampisi. Okay, ngito present nge-robots la now. Lesilakhe from scratch. Se la ekwakheni robots lethu sibe ne-stand. Sabane i-conscious lenedi i-flexible. Sisebenzise na for lama conductors ethu for ukuthi akhone sikhone kwafaka kahle lapha kule panel. So la sine i-flexible conduit stand and then in the box seke ngema lights ethu lapha lesina red na caution and then green. Say la this is a panel. La kule panel sisebenzise ema 11 pin base timer lokuma on delay. Kula ma shothi kunala ma timer bese kuba ne ma conductor ne overload relay. Se la for the robots lethu ukuthi operate liqala from red eziliqala ku red la kule ma conductors ma conductor ema timer not ma conductor I mean kuqala red and then asekangenile red shothi normally open lawo liya operator and then kuze livulele green kufune lishintshe liye kuma normally close. Emva koloko kuma normally close liyahamba lifaka caution and then bese iqalela pass back libuyela red. So ekwakheni kwethu robots kahle kahle besifuna understand ukuthi kwendekelani kulo. So uma silakha lapha yeah bengekho lula ngifuna icambe manje bengekho lula bekuthafu but ke sikhonile kumanager wasita lecturer wethu was-assista ukuthi okay lapha kuze li robot lethu lisebenze kumele sihambelana la. Se i-challenge nje lesinayo i-material eshoda ngayo otherwise singakhona ku provide more. So lapha kule robot lengikupholile mina enesibafundi base BSA kuthi la kaNgwane kusete ema college or my university la produce la khone kul produce but thina sibebe kuqala BSA. So masibe kuqala akupheleli la ngisho kahle kahle ukuthi lokwendeka lapha ngisengakutshela ukuthi okay la kwendeke kwekuthi kwenekwe ukuthi kahle kahle akungasho ukuthi kuyi cascading lapha lana nje if okay lapha kule robot lethu lapha kule robot lethu lengubhekile okay kuhle sikwendile se for bani labangangami mina nje ngangitive ngijabule kakhulu for lokwa ezangisita lecturer wami se kulabangama ngangami youth ngabamema kuthi abasonzele ngale eBSA bangagcine ngalokubona lo ukuthi kuwendakala kanjani kufuna bagcine babone operation yako lapha ukuthi kwendakalani. Ngabonga.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really, really impressive, especially in Tantra. Ngaphosa ngase girl power. You see, these students are very, very smart. And unfortunately, we as Eswatini, we usually consume the end products of innovation. Gansi, we have our innovators. Sikuthenga sekuqhamuka sekuyi-finished product. I think what we want to encourage as a ministry, as government, we should support our innovators. But this is from scratch because that is where the money is. It is not in the end product. Scratch. We've seen girls doing things that before we said they were only for men. So you see that the ecosystem is really, really opening up and it is welcoming our girls. I think even our high school students can see that nothing is impossible. Girls go into science, girls empower yourselves, girls, you can do better. I was promoting my but nje angisho njalo. We have also seen IK, you know, with indigenous knowledge, it was one of the issues which were raised as Bayen. Which we need to do something with our IK. We need to add value into it. Thank you, Dr. Spencer. Now we saw how we can add value into it because if you're carrying that 2-liter bottle traveling from Manzin to Paba, they will be all looking at you like, you see. But now if it is in a capsule, it's much better. You can carry it everywhere. Girls from BSA, the boys as well, we have really, really done great. San Cecilia, I remember Heka was still a head teacher by then. Yes, and it was a very, very, very good car, powered by solar. So you see, our girls and our children, they are very, very innovative. So now we're going to move to another group, which is also on value addition, but now we're moving up to startups from RSTP. I'll call upon 2 startups, Jonathan Cyber and Luna Hair, and I'm also giving you only 3 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, after this, Dr. Ndlovu will take over as your program director. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you.
May I observe all protocol? Can I step down because I have a presentation, a short presentation about what we do. I am Banele Jonathan Masego. I am not Jonathan Cyber. I am Banele Jonathan Masego who runs Jonathan Cyber, a cybersecurity company which is based at the Royal Science and Technology Park. Ours is just to do IT security. As we have noted, Nasfiga Lana Beba project Wi-Fi password. Now the question is, who knows if we connect legit Wi-Fi? No matter someone who created a different hotspot, why name exactly this one? Then you are connected. Then your information is being harvested by someone. Yes. So we are based Eswatini, 100% owned by Eswatini, Liswati. We are in. Oh, thank you so much. The technology. Seemingly it's not working. Oh, okay. So this is what we do at Jonathan Cyber. We are addressing pain points which include but not limited to data loss. Some others we can attest that ransomware has been one of the prevailing cyber attacks, not only in Eswatini but the world at large, because we are a world which is connected, interconnected. Yes. Identity theft has been seen in the Kingdom of Eswatini, more especially during 2021. Oh, thank you. 2021, where people started connecting guma VPNs, lebebangawati noma kamgapi, noma alleged, noma secure. So ours tine is to uncover those cyber criminals and bring justice to it. Yes, these are the solutions we are bringing. Network security. We have seen some other companies which offer a network as a service, but now we are adding security on the network. It has been added, but now we are elevating its importance to the digital space and business continuity and disaster recovery. We have seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, every business was forced to operate remotely. Now, it was in a way in which some of the companies were introduced into the digital age. Lapho kwaqala khona bo Zoom meetings and everything kwaba more and more prevailing kuma organization. But then most information was also lost during the phase because people were not sensitized into how to transition from this paper environment into a paperless environment. In data recovery, you have your server that has crashed, we recover the data back to life, and many others. We do secure wireless networks, web application, physical, and edge computing tests we do offer as Jonathan Cyber through the process of penetration testing. We have worked with a number of organizations, and we hope some of these bodies which are here will be joining us. We are partnering with industry players from outside the country and some which are inside the country to make our services more and more, I would say, relevant into the industry. Yes, and this is the team behind Jonathan Cyber. I am Masego Banele, as I have introduced myself. Since the IT industry is constantly evolving, one has to stay abreast and stay relevant into the industry. I've done a number of courses and still doing a number of them to keep myself relevant in the industry. And these are my colleagues which are not here due to some equally important duties. I thank you so much.
All protocols observed. It is a privilege to stand before you today on behalf of Luna Hair and Body, an Eswatini-born brand dedicated to redefining beauty through innovation, research, and sustainability. As we are here to honor the launch of Eswatini National Science Week, it is inspiring to see a platform dedicated to recognizing the impact of science, technology, and innovation in shaping industries. Because at the heart of Luna, these elements are at the heart. My name is Siria Masilela, and I am the co-founder of Luna Hair and Body. When we founded Luna and Hair and Body, we recognized a gap in the market. Many beauty products available were not formulated with the unique needs of African hair in mind. Instead of following the trends, we took an evidence-based approach, investing in study, research, and scientific formulation to create products that truly serve our demographic. By understanding the structure of African hair and the requirements of melanin-rich skin, we developed effective research-based formulations using natural African-sourced ingredients that nourish, protect, and enhance. For example, our Moon Dew leave-in conditioner was not just created based on preferences, but through an in-depth study of moisture retention, protein balance, and the ingredient absorption of curly and coily hair textures. Our commitment to research ensures that our customers receive solutions, not only products. Solutions that are tailored to the realities of their daily hair care and skincare needs. For small businesses, innovation is not an option, it is a necessity. In an evolving market, standing out requires creativity, adaptability, and forward-thinking strategies. At Luna Hair and Body, we have leveraged innovation, not just in product formulation, but across our business model, product innovation. We continuously research beauty needs to develop products that fill market gaps. By integrating scientific advancements in hair and skincare, we ensure that each product is not only effective, but addresses the specific beauty requirements unique to our customers. Digital transformation. We have embraced e-commerce, social media to bridge the gap between customers and their access to high-quality beauty solutions. Through our online strategic content and digital marketing, we educate and engage our customers beyond just selling products. Sustainable innovation. Recognizing the circular economy, we integrate environmentally responsible practices into our packaging, ingredients, sourcing, and production methods. As consumers become more conscious of sustainability, innovation in eco-friendly solutions is critical for long-term success. Business model innovation. Rather than relying solely on traditional retail models, we have positioned ourselves both in physical retail locations and online. Our presence in Pick n Pay stores, concept stores like Dala Spaces and Langa Concept, and our direct-to-consumer model ensures that we reach a broad audience efficiently. To young innovators and entrepreneurs, I urge you to take advantage of the resources made available by our government and other organizations. Programs, grants, incubators, and mentorships initiatives exist to support businesses in their early stages. These resources serve as a stepping stone towards building sustainable enterprises that can compete both locally and internationally. However, to access resources alone is not enough. Perseverance is key. The road to success, which we ourselves are still traversing, is rarely easy. But resilience, adaptability, and willingness to learn are what separate thriving businesses from those that fall behind. Failure is a lesson, setbacks temporary, and persistence is what leads to real innovation. Keep refining your ideas, seeking guidance, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. As entrepreneurs and innovators, it is easy to feel intimidated by our backgrounds or coming from a smaller nation. But let me remind you, Eswatini has just as much potential to lead innovation as any other nation. Great ideas are not limited by geography. The ability to think creatively, apply research, and leverage technology is what drives success. We are equally capable of producing world-class innovations that can compete on a global scale. Never let the size of your country or your personal background make you doubt your capabilities. The most groundbreaking ideas often come from those who dare to challenge limitations, push boundaries, and refuse to be underestimated. Science and innovation are not limited to laboratories. They are the driving forces behind industry innovations. In Eswatini, small businesses can redefine industries by integrating research, technology, and creative problem solving to their business model. Whether in beauty, agriculture, health, and technology, applying science-driven strategies allows entrepreneurs to create high-value, market-differentiated products that compete on a global scale. To students, researchers, and entrepreneurs here today, your ideas, experiments, and innovations hold potential to shape the future of Eswatini's economy. Whether you are working on product development, sustainability, or digital transformation, embrace curiosity, research, and calculated risk-taking. At Luna Hair and Body, we are proof that small businesses with big ideas can stand out. We are not just selling products, we are reshaping beauty standards, promoting sustainability, and creating a business for African entrepreneurs. Thank you to the Royal Science and Technology Park, University of Eswatini, and the organizers of Eswatini National Science Week for this opportunity to share our journey. Let's continue to innovate and inspire and build the future where African businesses can thrive. Thank you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. All protocol observed. I have a quick plea from Dr. Evans, who has an upcoming meeting. If he's still here, he can come to the floor to give his presentations before I introduce myself. maybe he's giving me just 1 minute to tell you who he is. He's Dr. Evans, who is a senior lecturer in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. He is the Digital Transformation Fellow with the University of Johannesburg in the Johannesburg Business School. And he also is an honorary research fellow at UKZN as well as the University of Limpopo. You have the floor, Dr. Evans.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would say all protocol observed. I mean, I had written the protocol, but I think things have changed. But I've observed all of you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you to the Ministry of ICT who invited me to come and be part of this launch that we're celebrating under the theme that focuses on technology. And I've been asked to speak about emerging technologies and innovation. I had no clue what exactly I was supposed to focus on. It's very broad, but I've tried to curve and share for myself so that I can at least focus. This launch is very key, I think, for the country. As mentioned before, it's the first for the Kingdom of Eswatini. And we need to keep up the momentum so that we have it every year, maybe in November as other countries, but we need to keep on having this so that we can collaborate. It also comes at the background of two key events that have taken place this week. We had the Global AI Summit in Paris. We have seen, of course, the controversy around the UK and US refusing to sign the accord. But I just want to mention that the summit has given us an opportunity to think about public interest AI and the future of work, innovation and culture, trust in AI, global AI governance. Secondly, we had the Global Government Summit in the UAE, where His Majesty King Mswati III outlined 4 principles that should underpin governance world over. But for this particular talk, I want to maybe zero in on his motivation for us to focus on innovation and digital inclusion, which also resonates with the SDGs principle of not leaving anyone behind, and also the Commonwealth ambition of moving everyone forward. So we also want to acknowledge, I think, the country is trying to move in that particular direction. The Minister of ICT, again, speaking at the Global World Government Summit, undertook to make something very big, like 300,000 people will be trained in coding. So we have a huge responsibility that is before us. For the sake of my talk, I'll try to talk about emerging technology and innovation as they relate to digital transformation. I think the Minister of ICT has been talking over time about this, but I think we need to act. We've talked about this, I think, a number of times. This is the time that we need to start realizing the benefits of what we've been doing over the past years. We have witnessed a lot of changes, technological at least, over the past few years. And these involve issues such as artificial intelligence. I don't want to talk about AI alone, I'll talk about many things. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, biotechnology, of course, with many other ethical issues involved there, quantum computing. All these issues are reshaping our economies and societies in a scale that we have not seen before. I want to focus today on the business imperative of achieving digital maturity, or what I want to call in a very simple way, digitality, a state where we have achieved all these things that we've been talking about. We want to achieve that state of digitality, and I will outline the things that we need to do as a country for us to achieve that. I'm happy we are gathered here at the institution that has a responsibility to make sure that we achieve that. They have a mandate to do research and to lead towards national development. And as we gather here, at least some of us who are academics are reminded of that imperative. I make an argument that digital transformation is and indeed driven by emerging technologies and is essential in our government and business landscapes. It is critical for the government and our companies to aim to drive sustainable growth, but that is also ethically led through innovation. We have a challenge of legacy companies, as we were told by Dr. Maseko earlier that our companies are lagging behind in terms of research and development, in terms of innovation. They will need to adopt deliberate strategies to transition into the digital era. They must be able to take advantage of the emerging technologies that will enable them to enhance operational efficiency, remain competitive, and contribute to a sustainable and equitable future. A vision, of course, that was also echoed at the AI Summit communique. The question is not if Eswatini will reach digitality, that is going to happen, but when. So that is the critical component of my discussion. We determine the when through the pace at which we decide to work forward. So that timeline depends on our ambition and the speed with which we transform our current business models, our government models, and the starting point is addressing our national digital readiness. I want to emphasize this. We need to make sure that our digital readiness as a country is robust. We need to make sure that the physical infrastructure and environment necessary for us to thrive is available. Government is working towards this, but I think we need to assist them in achieving that particular ambition. So digital transformation is not merely an option. We don't have an option to either do it or not do it. It is a strategic imperative for the nation and the businesses that are determined to remain competitive in a changing market environment. We need our companies to be competitive globally in the region, and for that to happen, we need to create that kind of environment. We need to, for example, make sure that we streamline our processes, deliver superior products and services, and this is possible. We need to, number one, understand the current landscape. We need to scan the environment, and I think a number of research projects have been done through the ministry. We need to achieve what I would then call 4 digital objectives: enhancing operational efficiency at government level, at business level, streamline processes and reduce manual labor, but not retrench people. We retrain and reskill. Real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance of all our processes, and improved client experiences and new revenue streams. This speaks to the government, it speaks to the university, it also speaks to private entities. I make an argument that for Eswatini to thrive in this digital age, we must and we need to focus on 3 focus areas. Number 1, innovation and competitiveness. Like I've said, it is not optional for us to pursue digital transformation. This is strategic, we must do it. We must take advantage of the technologies that are available. Number 2, infrastructure development. We need to build a robust infrastructure that is crucial for us to achieve this imperative. We need to invest, and this is where government is crucial. We have a budget presentation tomorrow. Most likely, maybe I hope we'll see more funding towards startups and technology investments. So we need to invest in state-of-the-art hardware and software. We need secure data storage facilities. The presenter before me was talking about cybersecurity and the services they offer. We need to improve that and be robust in our approach. We need to use cloud computing solutions for scalability to achieve the other issues that I've talked about. But number 3, which is most critical, is the workforce development. We need a skilled workforce, and we can achieve that by continuous learning and development programs. My Pro-Vice Chancellor normally says we always need to relearn, to learn and unlearn some of the things that we already know. I think we need to adopt that kind of strategy, and that is where we are at the moment. I also argue that the path to digital maturity or to digitality must be sustainable and inclusive. This involves the decisions that are taken by government and corporations in terms of data centers, for example, that they use. How energy efficient are they, and are they good in terms of water preservation? So we need to assess the environmental impact of the development that we want and make sure that we bridge the digital divide in all aspects of innovation that we seek to achieve. The last one is the need for us to support research and development. I work for a university, so I will emphasize this. We need, like Dr. Maseko said before, companies to come here and be able to partner with the university or go to other universities in the country. But we need partnership, which is also part of SDG number 17, so that we can be able to create an ecosystem that supports innovation in the country, which also allows for us to be able to experiment. We need policy frameworks, and these are being developed. Some of them are already there, but we need to have a deliberate ambition to achieve this. And our success will depend on our ability, number one, to execute our digital transformation strategy that the Ministry of ICT is anchoring, build robust digital infrastructure, build and develop our workforce, foster collaboration across sectors, and ensure sustainable and inclusive economic growth for all the people of the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evans, for that quick presentation on digitalization. He said I can do his presentation on his behalf, but I don't think so. Maybe one day I will digitalize the chemistry world. My name is Tabile Ndlovu, like Dr. Msane introduced me before. I work for the University of Eswatini in the chemistry department as a senior lecturer. I'm also the current president for the Kingdom of Eswatini Academy of Sciences. My job is quite brief because we are running out of time. I just want to quickly call the speakers so that at least we can get the benefit of today. And while saying that, our next item is the entertainment. Can I request that while the presenter that is coming in will be presenting, can they get ready so that immediately after that they can give us the entertainment. But for now, can I also I did mention that all protocol observed. I also just wanted to make a special mention for Ms. Eswatini. One day I wished I could be one, but we are very happy to see you in here today, especially when we are talking about sciences. And science is for everyone, the most beautiful of the country, and all our beautiful children, as we have already seen. Can I request that our next presenter, who is Dr. K. Bimpong, who is from the International Atomic Energy Agency, who is responsible for over 50 countries, including Eswatini, and he is actually based in Austria, and he was quite kind to grace us today. He has a PhD in molecular breeding, an MBA, and he wants to share his knowledge and work on the contributions to global food and nutritional security, food security. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam, for giving such a very wonderful introduction about me. First of all, I would like to say that with all protocols observed, I'm extremely happy to be here to celebrate the very first Science Innovation Week with my colleagues and my member country, Eswatini. Go to the first slide. As was said, my name is Kofi Bimpong. I am actually from Ghana in West Africa, but currently I am working with the International Atomic Energy, and I am based in Vienna, Austria. And my mandate is specifically in food and agriculture, using the nuclear techniques to improve food and agriculture. My take-home message from my presentation is in twofold. One, how can we use nuclear techniques like X-ray, gamma rays, and all forms of radiation to improve and enhance food security? I strongly believe this is significant, important that we are using the nuclear technology for. We all have heard of the deadly disease called cancer. We know it. How do we get rid of it? Currently, all the radiological technologies we are using, we are advancing using these nuclear techniques now. And as we are here, I know that there is a process in the parliament and in the government office whereby they are trying to align the legislature so that we will come in and establish a state-of-the-art radiology facility in the country. When I was picked from the airport coming, my counterpart just pointed a place to me that if all goes well, this is the place that we are going to establish the radiology center. So with this, I'll proceed. When we talk of nuclear techniques, everything that comes in mind, of course, we think of the Fukushima war and then how the nuclear atomic energy was used to destroy everything. However, we are looking at the peaceful use of this technology, its application. So there are many forms. All of us every day pass through the airport. We go through the X-ray facility. Because the radiation is very low, it doesn't have any major effect on us. Similarly, the same we use in the food. We pass it through a very low frequency so that it doesn't have any effect on the food we eat. There are many forms that we do. It has many advantages compared to the current system that we use to produce food. For example, we go through any conventional agriculturist will tell you that you have to make crosses, breeding, you select, it goes a long way. However,
we are still broadcasting live from the University of Eswatini. We are at the launch of the Eswatini National Science Week, where we've already heard from a number of speakers that have spoken broadly about the different products that they've created that have an impactful and a meaningful contribution to the economy of the Kingdom of Eswatini. And it's not only that, actually, Chuki, one of the exciting things that I saw right here today is actually seeing people coming from the tertiary space, students that have done value addition to a number of products like the cars and different things that we've seen right here.
Definitely, Nelly. So we are definitely igniting curiosity, inspiring innovation, all in the name of enhancing, a sustainable economic development. What I've seen and what has happened so far is that they are definitely just teaching us on ways and equipping us on ways of ensuring that collaboration definitely is the right thing for us to do. Njenganyalo-ke mbukeli we-Eswatini television, kubalulekile ukuthi sale sikwatiswa ukuthi ihlelo lethu manje selitawuthatha kungathi selitawukheva kancane, but-ke ungakhathateki because we'll still be streaming on our YouTube channels, we'll still be very active on our Facebook and our Instagram. You can also follow us on our TikTok. But lesita kwenanyalo sicela kumikisa tintsambo etule embabane sesikhathi setintsaba.
Laboratory in Cybersdorf, but we have kept them in a 5-star hotel because we are extremely taking all the attentions on them to see whether there is a potential for the future. So now I'll just share some of the advantages or some of the outputs that the nuclear techniques can bring. We all know this morning the first speaker on the chemistry was talking about the soil and then how irrigation facilities and those kind of things. Yes, we need these technologies. We have all heard of isotope carbon-13, nitrogen-15. These are all isotopic techniques. We need them to be able to maybe map this room here and tell us, oh, this room, the nutrient level is low here. We need to increase it, or this soil is contaminated, especially in the mining areas. We know how the soils are contaminated in the mining areas. So we are using the nuclear techniques to be able to identify and clean and improve the soils in these areas. The next thing I'll talk about is about nutrition and health. I heard of it this morning. We all know, yes. How do we use nuclear techniques to test this? We mixed it sometimes with even the medicine you are taking. But because it's an isotope, we can now with 3D and whatever, we can by computer visualize it inside you and see its movement within your system. So we can be able to track some deficiencies in your system and how we can correct it. Again, we develop some food crops that are very rich in high iron, high zinc, protein. Then we feed this into lactating mothers and children. For example, we are doing this in Botswana, Zambia, and others. Then, initially, before we start the feeding, we go and measure them. We do this nutritional analysis on them. Then, after a couple of periods, we go and we see the difference, how we are using these techniques to also enhance all these things. Animals, we know, especially in the southern part of Africa here, we know how cross-boundary these cattle go. For example, Botswana, Zimbabwe, you see them crossing left, right. These are the sources of disease transfer. Now we are all talking about a lot of these transboundary diseases. How do we track? How do we monitor them so that we make sure they are not going from one place to another? For example, yesterday when I was speaking with the National Agricultural Research Center, there was one lady there, the entomologist. She was saying that a disease like this, it's in banana. We call it RF4, which is a cassava banana disease affecting the whole banana ecology. The lady was saying it's just at the border of this country, but it's not yet detected here. How do we put measures in place using nuclear techniques to be able to make sure that we will be in a position to detect the disease and prevent it even from coming in? These are some of the benefits of the nuclear techniques that we are using. And a beautiful one is in Zimbabwe, between Francistown in Botswana and Zimbabwe, that area, we are able to tag all the animals, cattle that cross from point A to point B, using these nuclear techniques to make sure that we prevent disease from one point to another. The next advantage I will talk about this technology is some of the highlight or the success stories globally. You go to India, you can clearly see that we have used this technology to develop crops that are giving extremely high amount of money for the country. We can easily do it here. These are the same commodity crops all of us are using here also. The same beans that they are using there. The same if you go to a place like Vietnam. Imagine how nuclear technology has enabled them to develop a rice variety, and look at the amount of money, export they are getting from this annually. I believe these are the areas we can also use this technology to achieve this also. Initially I said I have two messages. This is the second message, capacity development. And I can see our future generations all over up there. Yes, the agency is in a position, and the agency offers, I won't say fellowship, I won't say scholarship, but fellowship. We offer fellowships, be it for MSc, PhD, BSc levels to member states. And I will encourage, especially the females, we have what we call the Marie Curie Fellowship there, that every year, over 500 young ladies globally converge in Vienna and avail themselves of this fellowship. So I will encourage all of you, get to IAEA site and avail yourself of this fellowship. Oh, sorry. Can you move for me? Sure. This one, I would appreciate if he can play the video for 1 minute for all of us. This is what we call the Atom for Food, that my agency is doing everything possible to integrate Eswatini into it. A series of meetings have been arranged, including the minister and others, as the Minister of Agriculture, but time is not allowing for that. But hopefully it has been set up. And this is an area that all the stakeholders in the agricultural development space, including the CG centers, the donors like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and others, they all come and put money on the table, and then we guide in R&D. For example, as we are speaking now, I have a project in Mauritania, I have a project in DR Congo, whereby the Japan government have come in with a huge amount of money that we should use to channel nuclear techniques in these areas. I believe this is an area the country can also have a look, and we go with it. Please, can you move for me? Please, I think he just went ahead of me. Okay, just to conclude. In conclusion, what I would like to say that all of us should see the nuclear techniques as one of the methods that we can use to alleviate all the so-called challenges that is affecting our ecosystem, be it the earth, the soil, and our life here, so that we will be in a position to satisfy 3 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I'm talking of the Sustainable SDG 3, which SDG 3 talks about the welfare of people or the health, and then its implications. SDG 2 that talks about alleviating hunger and food insecurity, and then the SDG 1 that talks about alleviating poverty globally. So these are the 3 messages, so I want to add and end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pimpong. Our Umiso will just give us a quick entertainment, and they have more to Swatini culture. You can go ahead. Kude majaha la. Loko angetikhatsi tami, it was me. But yeah, nyalo sengibongele labona. Can I quickly ask my panelists, together with their moderator, Dr. Sakolo, to quickly come up to the front to give us a very brief panel discussion. We are running, you are running out of time, and but as Kolela, we have a lot to learn from the panelists, but just a brief, we ask the panelists to be very brief. Can I quickly move up, Dr. Sakolo, together with Dr. Lamini Sabelo, Mr. L. Mkonda, RSTP, Dr. Rejoice Masego, and then Dr. L. Masebe, and Mr. Jose. Can I also request those who are having controlling powers, we are not going to be projecting anything anymore. If we can lift this up, especially because our panelists will be sitting up the... While they wait for us up there, to allow our leaders to also have something to say, and also to release them while we continue with the proceedings, I will request that Her Royal Highness Princess Nenge comes to the front and give us some remarks and introduce the keynote speaker as well.
I will start with correcting the representative of the regional administrator who said at the beginning of this meeting, he actually said something like, at the beginning there was God and science. No, there was God alone and there was God alone. I just want to make that very clear. I felt that needs to be corrected. I will acknowledge him, the regional administrator of the region, the Honorable Minister of Education and Training. I think he's on his way. The permanent ambassador to the UNESCO in South Africa, Dr. Phil. I'm not going to say the name, I'm not very sure how to pronounce that. The acting Director General of the Department of Science and Technology, Innovation in South Africa, Dr. Kukule Tuzwane, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Eswatini, Professor Justice Twala. Ngicela ku-acknowledge the members of Parliament, Qala, Chairperson of the House of Assembly, and the House of Assembly members, the senators, I acknowledge all of you and I respect you as my colleagues, the Undersecretary of the Ministry of ICT, Angambon Matanjana, but kuthiwa to all our distinguished guests, nani nonke bekunene. It is significant. It is a significant honor for me and my colleagues to stand here and be present here in this day as we launch the inaugural Eswatini National Science Week under the theme Igniting Curiosity, Inspiring Innovation, Science for Sustainable Economic Growth, Silive. We find this theme particularly exciting because it encapsulates the transformative potential of science and technology in shaping our future, Singemaswati. It invites us to explore new ideas and encourage creativity and harness innovation as we strive for sustainable economic growth. By igniting curiosity, we can inspire the next generation of scientists, thinkers, and leaders to tackle the pressing challenges we face as a nation. This theme is not only highlights the importance of scientific inquiry, but it also emphasizes the critical role that innovation plays in driving our economy forward and improving the quality of life for all eMaswati. In that regard, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Ministry of ICT, the government ministries, in particular the Ministry of Education and Training, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Science Technology Park, the Joint River Basins, our institutions of higher learning, especially the University of Eswatini, the Kingdom of Eswatini Academy of Science, the private sector, and all key actors in our national system of innovation who have collaborated to make this event a reality. Your commitment in advancing science, technology, innovation in our country is commendable, and it is essential for our digital future, Sisive. Today we gather not to celebrate science, but to recognize its pivotal role in driving economic development. The challenges we face as a nation, including the high rate of unemployment, food security, Latin Minister Agriculture is food sovereignty now, our health crisis, our poverty, energy shortages, and climate change demand innovative solutions grounded in scientific research and technological advancement. The world around us is rapidly evolving. It is crucial that we harness the power of STI to propel our economy forward and transform from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy as outlined in our National Development Plan. You might recall that during our recent Sibaya, Singemaswati, eMaswati emphasized the urgent need for this transformation. They called for strengthening our national system of innovation, specifically urging for the speedy passing of legislation and policies, and this is where we come in. Let us heed this call and sitige nkwe njengoba sathi sonke singeMaswati sibe mindful of the King's address during the opening of Parliament, where he made it clear that strengthening science and technology is crucial for improving our economy and government efficiency. Countries such as South Korea, Singapore, Israel, and South Africa have demonstrated that a robust national system of innovation can transform a nation. South Korea's journey from a struggling economy to attaining a first world status is a testament to this truth. We too have the potential to achieve remarkable growth through strategic investment in STI. As the Portfolio Committee, Senate, along with the members of House of Assembly. We would also like to acknowledge the significant role played by South Africa in strengthening our national system of innovation. Yes, their support in mentoring the Kingdom of Eswatini has been invaluable. We are honored by the presence of esteemed individuals such as the former Director General, Dr. Phil Jwara, the Acting General, Dr. Kukuletu Zwane, and their entire delegation. Their expertise and guidance exemplifies the spirit of collaboration that is essential for our growth and development in all member states of the Southern African Development Community and the African continent at large. As politicians and policymakers, we bear a significant responsibility. We are tasked with creating an environment conducive to innovation. This means not only allocating resources to research and development, but also advocating for legislation and policies that encourages collaboration between academia, industry, and the public. Letimoto nje lesitibonile la sifuna ukuthi tidume tihambe tingakhanyisi nje bese tiyahutha kube kuphela. We must advocate for educational reforms and prioritize science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects, ensuring that our youth, especially young women and girls, are equipped with the skills that they need to excel in these fields. It is our duty to support initiatives and promote inclusivity and diversity within the scientific workforce, empowering every citizen to contribute to our nation's development. Moreover, we must engage with our communities, Tingundla regions, to raise awareness about the importance of STI in everyday life in Eswatini. The Eswatini National Science Week serves as a vital platform for this purpose, allowing us to connect, to inspire, and ignite curiosity amongst our citizens. I urge every one of you, key actors in national systems of innovation, students, educators, researchers, private sector, and fellow policymakers, to seize this opportunity. Let us work together to foster a culture that values innovation and science. Let us mentor our young scientists and innovators, providing them with the tools they need to succeed. Material. So, policy makers, we do our part. In closing, I want to express my excitement for the events of this week. We look forward to witnessing the creativity, the ingenuity that will be showcased during the Eswatini National Science Week. Let us celebrate the brilliance of our young minds and the potential of our nation. Siyabonga bekunene, sinifisela kusebenta lokuhle, umsebenzi usaqhubeka.
Thank you very much to Her Royal Highness, and we are humbled to learn that our parliamentarians are behind the mandate of science. We have been blessed. As Eswatini, we've already been told, actually we know that it is our first time to host the National Science Week. And we are lucky to have partners in South Africa who have always held our hands when it comes to issues of science and innovation. And we are blessed to have the permanent residence, the permanent ambassador of UNESCO in South Africa, who is one of the longest Director Generals from the Department of Science in Science, Technology and Innovation in South Africa. I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Program Director. And I'm very much aware that the time is no longer on our side. So I'll just try and give you the key messages of what I wanted to share with you. And also please allow me to, like others, to say all protocol observed. So the first message from me is that we are here with the Acting Director General, who may say a few words after me, to support Eswatini today at the launch of the National Science Week. Now, what does this support mean? I will come back to that in a few minutes, because I wanted to give you a little bit of background and the message to the politicians and to the policymakers. But before I do that, I just wanted to ask in the room, how many of you know something which is called a bank book? Can you raise your hand? Oh, all right. How many of you have carried a cell phone that is called Nokia, which you used to, okay, so there are a couple of remnants in the room. How many of you do not have flat screen TVs, but you've got the ones that have got a big something at the back? Okay, so the numbers are going down. This morning I was reading an article from Mark Zuckerberg, who is saying that in the next 5 years or so, we will not be carrying cell phones anymore. All the information that is on the cell phones will be carried through a chip that will be on our glasses, and you'll be able to carry all the instructions through the cell phone. Now, what is the message that I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say, whether we like it or not, as humanity, we are impacted by changes in technology. The difference, though, between the last and that these changes are happening extremely rapidly, much, much more than we have ever seen before. So that's the first point in supporting you, and therefore having a National Science Week where you encourage the young people to follow careers in science, technology, and innovation is the right thing to do, because you're going to need people with high skills in science, technology, and innovation. But before I do that, I also want to indicate to you that all transformations that societies have had in the last 150 years have come from scientists working in the lab. And I'll again indicate to you why I'm saying this, especially to the politicians. The first is that in the 1800s, there were a group of scientists who were looking at the science of things changing their phases from water to steam. That's what they were doing. They were just in the lab trying to understand phase transitions. And what that did, it, for the first time, eventually produced something called the steam engine, and that was society moving away from agrarian revolution. In around 1865, the scientist was called James Watt. And then followed by that, there were a group of scientists who were trying to understand what happens if you take a coil and put it in a magnetic field, and they discovered that it produces electricity. And we all know how the manufacturing industry was transformed because of electricity, which even today we are using. The third was a group of scientists who were working on semiconductor physics. And we know that those scientists have transformed the way that we are using television, we are using cell phone, including having a microphone. And then, of course, today we are talking about the fourth revolution. So the point I'm trying to say to the political decision makers is that not only do you have a role in supporting the department and the scientists, you also have a role in educating the society as a whole on the journey that you are taking, because the journey of transforming the economy of Eswatini and change people's lives doesn't happen overnight. just to give you one case study, if you look at a country called Switzerland, and I'm sure most of you know the country, and I'm sure most of you would like to go there and spend some time. That country, after the Second World War, had nothing. And the only way that they transformed the society and the country from what it was, with the same levels of poverty, Vice Chancellor, and investment in R&D that you presented, it was through a generation, it means about 50, 60 years of investing in education and investing in people. So I'm appealing to those who are decision makers, yes, to hold scientists to account, but also remember that these things don't happen overnight. We learned this in South Africa because when we started building the National System of Innovation, we discovered that we had a robust engagement with our portfolio committees, but we kept asking them to be patient with us. And maybe we are lucky, or maybe it's one of those things that the harder you try, the luckier you become, that something called COVID arrived in 2019. And when the president wanted the solutions of how the country was going to navigate through COVID-19, he asked the minister at the time whether the scientists in South Africa could help. And fortunately, we had invested 20 years ago on an area of biotech, as Mr. Frimpong indicated. And it was that investment that allowed the scientists in South Africa to understand the variation of COVID-19, including the discovery of the variant which was called Omicron, which I'm sure you all remember. So it is extremely important, yes, to hold the scientists and the departments to account, but please remember as well that these things take time. So in my new role, I have a couple of things that I'd like to offer Eswatini, of course working with the ministry in South Africa. In UNESCO, there are things called research chairs. So if you want to strengthen your research capacity, I will be working yesterday at the dinner. I invited the representative of Eswatini in Western Europe so that I can work with him on how, together with the National Commission in South Africa, we can support your capacity building through UNESCO chair. So in my role as a permanent representative of South Africa in UNESCO, I'll try my level best to work with Eswatini around this. We have also identified areas of work that we can do as the SADC region, for instance, in mineral beneficiation. We have nickel and manganese in South Africa. We have cobalt in Congo, and we've got lithium in Zimbabwe and Namibia, as well as in Zambia. So we want to put a consortium of research institutions in these countries to ensure that the batteries that are used in electric vehicles, there's value addition through those institutions here. So that's something, again, I'd like to do. But there are many, many, many other instruments in the health area and digital transformation that would like, working with the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, working with the region, and working with the rest of the continent, that would like to knock on UNESCO's capabilities so that we can transform this region, we can transform South Africa, and hence you having this National Science Week and you being on a path to building a national system of innovation, we will be with you and we will work hard to make sure that you succeed in what you'd like to do. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I had written long speeches here to introduce my speakers, but because of time, I will cut them short. I already mentioned we are double blessed today. We also have the current acting Director General from the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, Ms. Gugulethu Zwane, who is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in a variety of fields. When I read her bio, She's a she's a jack of all trades and master of all, because she started in microbiology. She's done work in leadership, senior executive, both government and private sector. She's in policy, forest. I just took a few. The list is quite long. We are honored. Mage, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Siyajabula ukubalana, siyabonga ne-invitation. Igama lami uGugulethu Zwane. Batheni izolo? Mangweni. Yebo. Esasemzini ke kodwa ikongakwazi konke. Anyway, I don't think I'll say anything new over and above what has been said, but maybe it's important to speak from a perspective of government, ukuze le moto esiduma ihambe. Because I think, as I said, sibona demonstrations, you could see there's a lot of work that has been done. Actually, more maybe than La Eswatini you are even giving yourself credit for. So, it's good. Because I don't think Tina, probably when we started 25 years ago, we could demonstrate the same level of innovation at that time. Maybe former DG could correct me there, but I think we didn't have as many. So a lot has happened. So all protocol observed as well. Let me just send a congratulatory message from our minister, Dr. Bonginkosi Blade Nzimande, on this important milestone. I shared this at dinner yesterday, that he had a concern how big the delegation was that was coming here. We have other colleagues that are still gonna join. And then because of cost saving, we are trying to minimize traveling and too many people going somewhere at once when it could be a smaller delegation. So when he met me, he said, "Niyapi niba ningangaka? Ingoba neSwazini kushibhile." Because probably we didn't have to fly. I said, "No, Minister, I think if you come to think of it, and where Eswatini is, and looking at us as a role model, it's important that we go and support in numbers. As much as they think they would be learning from us, but we can also learn. It doesn't mean that we are perfect or we've perfected the game. And it's part of our SADC community, so it would be good if we are there to show support." And then he said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." But I also told him that you think you were being dramatic, honestly. And he just laughed. So we would like to thank the Eswatini for inviting us as the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation as a partner of choice to participate in the Eswatini National Science Week. I know that there's been consistent engagement with our colleagues. I remember meeting with Dr. Masego and team last year in Bloemfontein, and they told us about this event coming and said, "We would really appreciate to see you there when that happens." So it's very good that we've seen it coming to fruition, and we are here. It can only grow from here. So we are very confident, and we know that it's gonna succeed. And then we are also cognizant of the fact that it's going to be a week-long event. There would be other exhibitors and we are going to have other colleagues joining to be part of this. So as a word of encouragement, we always say Rome was not built in one day. What is important is that the journey has started. And I think, like everybody said, there needs to be collaborations with other role players, starting internally. From a government perspective, when we also began almost 25 years ago, the National Science Week activities could only be held in 3 provinces per year out of 9. And each province hosted activities at just a single site. It took us about 6 years to have in place a fully functional and reliable mechanism to achieve a national reach in terms of having at least one activity in each district municipality. The battle is still on with the increase, as we increase the number of sites. But our message to Eswatini is that the launch event confirms that you have gone over the biggest hurdle, the inception of your National Science Week. And the next challenge is making sure that it is regularized and, if resources permit, even expanded. It is important that this week does not happen in a vacuum. It should be appreciated within the grand scheme efforts to build a thriving national system of innovation. Ideally, the National Science Week is part of an ongoing public engagement with science campaigns, which campaign is that, amongst other things, it would be seeking to create public awareness, as I've already said, and appreciation of science enabled the public to gain knowledge about science. The kind of society that the campaign aims to achieve would be sufficiently informed to meaningfully participate in various activities that are necessary for the development of a national system of innovation. I think what Dr. Mjwaha said around things that we do every day, that is where we want to go, where whenever you see an object or a service, you can primarily link it to science, because basically everything is about science, though for sure it was God first. Also, we are happy that this is in line with the SADC goal of establishing a region where science and technology support the creation of wealth and job opportunities. It lowers poverty and disease and promotes sustainable social and economic development. It should also be noted that the presence of an ongoing public engagement with science campaign makes organizing the National Science Week easier to handle as time goes on, because all it means is bringing existing public engagement with science activities together to create a buzz around science. Once more, it must be reiterated that things will develop to that level over time. What matters most at this stage is that the work has started in that direction. So we heard earlier that it was the King's dream to have a scientific research organization as far back as 1970, 53 years ago almost. And now it's gaining momentum. I spoke to Dr. Masego as well yesterday that we are available even to host some of the colleagues as we draw policies together, learning from each other. We could do an exchange, or they could start by going that side, be there for a month or two, and they come back, see how it works, and so on. So we are here to assist each other. But also, most importantly, from a resource perspective, it is important to remember that this is something that we need to invest in. Yes, we are actually at 0.62 R&D percentage at the moment. We were at some point at 0.85. We are now giving us a target again to go to 1.5 because this is important. But definitely, hopefully, one day we can get to 3% like all developed nations. But definitely we know, and I think as we sit here, one of the exciting things with the government looking at the next 5 years is a clear adoption in the government strategy of science and technology and innovation as one of the key drivers of the economy. As a country that is just starting in some areas, perhaps it would be good as you draft your strategies to put it in even now, not later, because it is really a priority for all of us. It's important to foster collaborations with universities, research institutions, and corporate sector, which has enabled us as South Africa to expand in terms of the caliber, the quantity, and geographic distribution of its activities. As we speak, the minister is now proposing that we do a science month versus a science week. So that is our next target. That is what we're working on. I'm not sure whether it's something that we're ready to do this year, but definitely next year we'll be speaking of a science month and trying to reach more schools in terms of exciting younger people to be involved in science. The power of science needs to be acknowledged. Science does not only enable people to understand and unravel things, it builds relationship. It is because of science that we've come together as two countries to jointly celebrate the National Science Week. The Eswatini National Science Week could be rightly seen as an act of science diplomacy, which is something we are big on. This should also be viewed as being consistent with the African Union's Science, Technology and Innovation Strategy for Africa 2034, which has just been reviewed to 2034. That strategy promotes science, technology and innovation, communication and outreach as crucial. Perhaps another thing that you could do better than us is science communication very early, because you would get to a point where you are doing a lot of things, but they are not known to the public. So that strategy of communication is also quite important. Through the engagement today and the collaboration with Eswatini, we have witnessed and realized the power of importance of science diplomacy and diplomacy for science. Indeed, science knows no borders. Let's continue working together for a better region, in a better Africa and a better world. Through such partnerships, we can realize the SDGs, which are a cornerstone for humanity. That is my message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mangweni. We will teach you the Lesnanatelo. Yes, I have two take-home messages here. Actually, they are one, but they say the same thing. Innovation does not happen overnight, and Rome was not built in one day. So as Eswatini, we are just starting. South Africa started over 20 years ago, and they are here to hold our hands, and we are very grateful about that. Can I request the representative of the Honorable Minister of ICT, Mr. Ngoba Msibi, to come and give us his remarks. He's also a scientist, by the way.
Thank you, Dr. Ndlovu. Can I kindly, we've been sitting down for the past, I think, about 3-4 hours. Can I kindly request that we just rise up and stretch a bit? If you have not greeted your neighbor, just greet him and say, "How are you, neighbor? How has it been?" Excellent, excellent. We can go back and take our seats. There's nothing spiritual about that. We just needed to stretch a bit and revitalize our brains. Siyabonga bekunene. As the program director has introduced me, I am standing in for the Honorable Minister of ICT, Honorable Savannah Mazia, who unfortunately could not be with us today here because of other responsibilities of the country outside Live, together with the Principal Secretary. My name is Ngoba Msibi. Lekwenza ke bathi ngingigcina umlando engisenganyetini yaseludzitsini sengendela emajala abuthekile batangiva bakangwane. I won't talk much. I'll just go straight to the speech of the Honorable Minister. As I have been assigned, I wouldn't want to add more or subtract to it, lest I make mistakes. But before I read the speech, there has been this controversy around trying to understand, people are saying there was God and there was science. There was just God alone. When you go to Proverbs chapter 8, verses 30, it says God did everything, and the person who was responsible for the science, for the manifestation, was wisdom. Because it says, I, wisdom, was beside him all the time as a skilled craftsman. It was God alone, and wisdom was in God, so it was God in totality. All right, let me continue. Bantu abenkosi, bobabe tikhulu lababuke imango. Honorable Minister of Education in absentia, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, Chairperson of the ICT Portfolio Committee, Senate, Her Royal Highness Princess Ngange, Chairperson of the MICT Portfolio, and members, honorable members of Senate Portfolio Committee, Chairperson of the MICT Portfolio Committee, House of Assembly, Honorable Charles Ndlovu, and honorable members of Assembly of the Portfolio Committee, the Manzini Regional Administrator, Prince Gicha, Permanent Ambassador to UNESCO in South Africa, Dr. Phil Mjwaha, the Vice President of the University of Eswatini, Prof. Justice Twala, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Prof. Kataka, Acting Director General of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation in South Africa, Ms. Kukuletu Zwane, senior government officials, captains of industry, members of media houses, distinguished guests, esteemed scientists and innovators, representatives from government and the private sector, academic institutions, and development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all this afternoon. Esteemed guests, distinguished colleagues, and passionate young minds It is with great pleasure and profound optimism that I stand before you today for the launch of the inaugural Eswatini Science Week. This year, we embrace the theme Igniting Curiosity, Inspiring Innovation, Science for a Sustainable Economic Growth, recognizing the pivotal role that science plays in shaping our society and propelling our nation towards sustainable development. This initiative aligns seamlessly with our National Development Plan, the Strategy for Sustainable Development and Inclusive Growth, our sectoral policies and strategies, underscoring our commitment to leveraging science and innovation as a catalyst for progress. Ladies and gentlemen, today we come together to embrace a cause that is essential, the celebration of the Eswatini National Science Week. This envisaged annual event transcends mere celebration. It represents our dedication to education, innovation, and the enhancement of knowledge in our beloved nation. As I look around, I am heartened to see a vibrant gathering, especially of young people. The Ministry of Education and Training, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, has been tasked with facilitating Eswatini's transition from a resource-based to a knowledge-based economy. Our reliance on minerals and natural resources is not sustainable, posing a threat to our environment. We must shift our focus to knowledge production and innovation as a new driving force of our economy. We live in a world beset by significant challenges: climate change, food security, health crisis, poverty, and inequality. Science is the key that unlocks solutions to these pressing issues. Countries have transformed from low-income to first-world nations with a century by harnessing the potential of science and technology. We must similarly pursue progress. However, I want to emphasize that science is not a solitary journey. It thrives on collaboration, as Dr. Masego had alluded to earlier on. It requires all of us, government, academic institutions, the private sector, and civil society, to unite in cultivating an environment that fosters innovation. It involves investing in our education, infrastructure, supporting our dedicated teachers, and ensuring that our students have the resources they need to excel. His Majesty, the King Mswati III, in his address at the 74th United Nations General Assembly, underscored the critical role of STI in transitioning Eswatini towards a knowledge-based economy. At the recent Sibaya, the nation emphasized the need to strengthen research, science, and innovation for sustainable economic growth and improving the lives of Emaswati. In his speech for opening of Parliament, His Majesty the King called for the strengthening of science and technology. Sekutalwandle wena wekunene, sithi bayethe, wena waphakathi. The King's Ngwe call demands immediate action. And today, we gather to ignite Emaswati's curiosity and inspire innovation, reflecting our collective commitment to leveraging STI for economic advancement. Ladies and gentlemen, strategic investments in research and development, digital transformation, and capacity building are essential for realizing this vision. A vibrant innovation ecosystem not only unlocks economic opportunities, but also enhances productivity and strengthens our competitiveness on regional and global platforms. As Eswatini embraces the next decade of technological transformation, constructing a self-sustained Eswatini requires integrating science, technology, and innovation across various sectors. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the unwavering support we receive from our neighbors in South Africa. The Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation has played a significant role in assisting our Ministry of ICT in strengthening our national systems of innovation. Usibongele Zwane Mangwen, Zigote. Their guidance have been instrumental in developing key policies, establishing vital institutions like the Kingdom of Eswatini Academy of Sciences, Women in Science, Engineering and Technology, YZ, and the operationalization of the Royal Science and Technology Park, RSTP. Moreover, South Africa has provided training opportunities for many of our postgraduate students, ensuring we build a skilled workforce. Just recently, we benefited from South Africa's assistance in conducting a successful Science Week, allowing our Eswatini team to benchmark their efforts. The Memorandum of Understanding between our two countries continues to foster a growing relationship in STI. As a government, we bear significant responsibility to create an environment conducive to research, innovation, and technological advancement. This involves not only allocating resources to research and development, which currently stands at 0.32% of our GDP, far below the 1% recommended by the African Union, but also developing policies that foster collaboration between academia, industry, and government institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, government is determined to strengthen the national systems of innovation for sustainable economic development. The enactment of the National Research Council Act, the Royal Science and Technology Park Act, and the Bioeconomy Strategy provides a solid foundation for research and commercialization. The establishment of the Kingdom of Eswatini Academy of Science and the Women in Science, Engineering and Technology initiatives serve as think tanks to recognize excellence in science and innovation, inspiring greater participation in these critical fields. As we embrace the fourth, fifth, and sixth industrial revolutions characterized by emerging technologies, Eswatini cannot afford to be left behind. Technologies such as artificial intelligence are already reshaping our daily lives and industries. However, studies indicate that few students pursue STEM subjects in our universities. We believe that is going to be a thing of the past. Skills audit report reveals that less than 30% of careers are in STEM fields, with women, girls, and disadvantaged groups being the most affected. Research shows that up to 85% of future jobs will be influenced by STI and emerging technologies. This shift will profoundly impact various industries, including information technology, health, manufacturing, energy, agriculture, and education. To all Eswatini from every corner of the region, educators, researchers, industry leaders, and policymakers, I urge you to seize this opportunity. Let us cultivate a culture that values science and innovation. Let us mentor our young scientists and innovators, equipping them with the tools they need to succeed. Together we can transform into a knowledge-based economy where STI is at the forefront of our national priorities. To our youth, you are the architect of Eswatini's future. We recognize the challenge of youth unemployment, and as a government, we are implementing various programs to address this issue. But we need you to rise and to rise to the occasion by embracing innovation and creativity. We are happy that the Innovations Association is doing a great job in this regard. Competition in the global landscape is fierce, and it is the innovative thinkers who will excel. Look to visionary leaders like Godfrey Hinton, known as the godfather of AI. AI has revolutionized the world, leading us to discuss the future of work. Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, once said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." This profound statement encourages us to think beyond the obvious, challenge conventional thinking, and seek bold, transformative solutions. Today, Ford produces millions of vehicles because they dared to think beyond the obvious. Let that inspire you to continue seeking unique solutions to our challenges. I also urge each of you to consistently pursue knowledge. We live in an information-rich time, and avenues for learning are abundant. The teachings from the Holy Bible emphasizes the pursuit of wisdom. Hosea 4:6 states, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." This serves as a powerful reminder that neglecting knowledge can lead to negative consequences for individuals and communities. Standing here and seeing all of you gathered fills me with encouragement. However, we must agree that our efforts to raise awareness and support for science initiatives needs improvement. Often we work in isolation, unaware that we share common goals. Today marks the beginning of a more unified approach to promoting science in our country. Congratulations to the organizers for reaching this milestone. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we officially launch National Science Week, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to everyone who has contributed to making this event a reality. Advancing STI is the foundation upon which our knowledge-based economy will be built. A special thank you goes to the steering committees of the Ministry of ICT, organizing committees, and the Ministry of Education for their tireless efforts. Collaboration between government, the private sector, academia, and civil society remains essential in fostering an innovation-driven economy. Together, we can build a prosperous, sustainable, and technologically advanced Eswatini for future generations. Let us ignite the curiosity and inspire innovation across all regions of the country from the 7th to the 20th of February. We shall reconvene on the 21st of February to reflect on the successes of this Science Week, celebrating those who showcased their STI projects and demonstrated scientific excellence. I am excited to announce that RSTP will assist in incubating the best projects. Furthermore, on that same day, I thought you were going to put hands on that one for RSTP. Furthermore, on that same day, we will launch the Eswatini National Chapter for Africa Educate Her, an initiative aimed at closing the STI gaps for girls. That's it for you girls. Allow me to thank our esteemed sponsors of this event. That is ESCOM, EEC, Eswatini Water Services Corporation, Swaziland Building Society, Boto University, Singambetolo MVA, RSTP, NJ Engineering, Joint River Basin Project. Thank you. May the Almighty bless you all. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, we wish you all a wonderful National Science Week. Thank you. God bless us all. Siyabonga butne.
Thank you so much, Mr. Msibi. And I am looking at the time. Atang shayema panelist but atang vumela futhi nangithi manje sesilambile. And I can see at the back our students whom I'm hoping they were listening. I listened earlier from our researchers who presented some of the work. I wanted to simplify a few things. Kutsimanje, they identified problems. Some of them are still in the labs. We need people to take them out of the lab. Some of them are Faragutsi, we have water issues. We know the country, it's mostly in urban areas where we have Emandi Aga EWSC. But in other areas, people still get water from their sources. We need material that will convert that water instantly into drinkable water. Those are the solutions that we want. And innovation is backed by knowing a problem and finding a solution, a working solution. They also talked about, I can also add to issues of waste. We have a lot of waste around. What can we get from that waste? Can we get cement? Those are ideas that are also going around. Dr. Mkabela talked about a hydrogel. To simplify it, ufuna kusakhela plaster. Leta uphuma la kangwane. So those are some of the innovations. Can I request my panelist, Uyangshaya, bangithumile nami, it's not my saying, Uyangshaya, Dr. Msane, uthi manje food is already ready ngale, and blamflaba tsala sebatasi, sesta ukuleka kwananathi. So can I request that maybe we can come back for those of us who can after lunch for a quick listen to the panel discussion. But before we go to it, ndawucela Dr. Dlamini usibongele kudla. Thank you.
Amen. All protocol observed. Can we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity we've had to meet and to discuss, oh God, all these important issues of national development. We pray, oh God, that as we continue, oh God, to implement these ideas, you may continue to guide us with your spirit and your power. And even now, oh Lord, as we are going to eat the food, we ask that to bless the food, oh God, and everyone also who has been in our midst, oh Lord, may you be with them, even those that now are departing and going back, may you continue to guide them on their way back. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Instructions for food, EVIP section yetfu. Before we go, Dr. Masego, so effective photo, group photo. Itabala hotel. La front, can we quickly take a group photo? But my directions for food, VIP section will be led by our ushers here in front, but our NU wing where they'll be served with food. The rest of us, food is served outside. But can we quickly, diligently, come forward and take a group photo? Thank you very much.
I live at Buhlebuyeza in the War region. My former school is Nyagato High School. And my Form 5 last year. I didn't get a chance to stay at home. Got electrical wiring. Umsebenzi ingqumbi akudzinge ukuthi nje kuthi baze bakucashe kwanana ungaticasha wena and then bese uyaqhubeka wakhaya kwikhampani if ukhona nakhona, but then if ufuna kusebenza abantu uyasitana nakhona usebenza khona. I-innovation le coming out with was to make a robot lapha kule robots we use a timer lokuma 11 pin base timer lokusho ukuthi lapha le robot le operator for kushinja lama colors for green, caution. It takes a minute, which is 60 seconds. My challenges lesiya facile ezisakha robot. Akabi ngamaningi kangako. Yebo kona bekukhuni singanothi kumele sithathe imsibiqinyayo. But then ngalokuthi ke we've got our lecture. Was assista sahamba senda le robot lethu sa la performa right njengoba nilibona ya performa lapha lidlala tot solo kulimi.
My name is Eswatini. I'm 20 years old. I live at Ikanhini, but my orphan home is in Mapuka. What inspired me as to become an auto electrician is because I love fast cars. I've been surrounded by people who love cars, so I thought that it also got me to see, you know what, cars are for me. That's what started about. So far, we have made this type of an automobile. Yeah, so, and these are the materials that we use. It is made from a plank, and even the tires are also made from a plank and also using the wires. When making this project, we didn't have quite challenges because we used recycled materials. But we did come up with a problem in terms of getting all these things together because we didn't have the funds of actually getting the right equipment to use. And we used copper wires, relays, fuses, horns, and yeah, that's it. Since science is an everyday thing, it's growing. So, and it's a forefront thing that is happening in the world. And in terms of auto electrical, we are in the space where innovation is going there. So, and in terms of students or children who are also interested in the industry of automotive, it's very wide. They can go to YouTube. YouTube has these platforms where one can know how cars are made from scratch and using things that they can actually see of manufacturing them. And platforms like TikTok, YouTube, they have this great platform of teaching ones how to make cars. It's a surprise, but we have an upcoming project that we are preparing with my teachers. So for now, I'm just going to support in improving the space of science, and we hope that we will make it out there. We will have a great chance of proving it that we can also do it. You will get to meet other science fiction students who are also interested in the space of science, networking, you know, making relationships with the people out there and getting the mentorship skills, and also have the stigma and the courage to keep on going. What advice I would give to young people is that is to stay grounded and stay updated on terms of technology, because technology is upgrading and developing each and every day. And also be aware of the things that are happening around you, and also stay positive. Give yourself time. Science needs you to just focus, needs your great focus, and yeah, stay grounded. Focus on your books. Read more. Read above. Okay, so this is what we made. We made a car made out of wires, and we also made a car made out of plank. So this is just a pie of what is happening in a auto electrical space, where like it's all about electricity. So it's just a pie of what is happening. So actually this car can give us a hood. I would also like this gentleman to come over and demonstrate us by hooting. Thank you. As you also can see, it also has these headlights and brake lights showing that electricity is flowing from the lead acid battery we have here. covering the whole space, and all that is wired in wires. So this is what we do, just a pie of what is happening in the space of what you guys see in cars and what is happening in the automotive space of electric cars. So thank you.
My name is Lindela Masego. I live at Bushebiyesa in the Wo region. My former school is Nyagato High School. And in complete my Form 5 last year. I didn't get a chance to stay at home. The electrical wiring. Umsebenzi ingumbi akudingeka ukuthi nje kuthi kaze baqashe kwanana ungaticasha wena and then bese uyaqhubeka wakha yakho ikhampani if ukhona nakhona, but then if ufuna kusebenza abantu uyasibana nakhona usebenze khona.
What we have just witnessed and seen right now, Babugeli by Eswatini TV, is people from BSA training that were showing us the wonderful things that they are doing, the creativity, the innovation that they are bringing into the products that they've made. We can see that science is really taking up the space, Chuki, technology and the innovation that we're all here about today.
Of course, definitely. And I think my wonderful takeaway from all of this is the fact that women in STEM, women need to be in science, and women are actually taking up space. Sibonile, robotics wasn't easy. As she was narrating a story, so yes, definitely. And we've had a wonderful day today, very insightful, very inspiring. My curiosity was definitely ignited. And all we can say is that we are definitely going to be using, science is actually going to be assisting us when it comes to economic growth in the kingdom of Eswatini.
You know, Chuki, one of the greatest things that I saw here today, it's actually even the performances themselves that were happening throughout what was happening here. You know, talk about the songs, the creativity, that's the innovation right there in the songs, in the lyrics, whereby people are talking about the theme. It really shows that innovation is not just limited to the technology and everything. Even if you're in arts or anything, there's still a bit of innovation that you can bring into the space. It's really brilliant to see things like that, Chiki.
Of course, this was the launch of the Eswatini National Science Week. And it will be starting from the neckly. It is geared towards innovators, the public in general, bafunzi, make sure you keep up with the Eswatini National Science Week, and they will be dealing with a couple of sub-themes that are based on health and agriculture and economic growth, just to name a few. It is definitely going to be amazing, Neliswa.
As Shuki has already said, just keep on following up on what is happening. It's the Eswatini National Science. We keep on following up on all the regional events that will be happening throughout the week, so that you can also get to participate. Launga Kona Kona. Make sure that you talk to young people, most especially young people. They need to be part of this. Talk to them, your friends, your family. Make sure that everyone is there to partake in this wonderful initiative. Otherwise, it has been a brilliant and beautiful day being here today, broadcasting live to you from the University of Eswatini. And from me, Chuki, I think this is goodbye.
Most definitely, please do keep up with us on all our social media pages, Eswatini Television, that is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. So for now, have yourself a wonderful evening from Chuki Lamini and Elisa Makanya. Bye-bye.
Dennis Gunene. Many Swazis were struggling with science engineering, so that's why I prefer to do engineering. Many Swazis, they are coming here for help, and then we try to sort their problems, and then they come up happy. Like I showed this, and especially for the sugar mills and the gears, not for the cars, but for the industrial machines. Yes, my challenge is we don't have the right equipment for that particular job, but we try to use what we've got in order to overcome those problems. There are those people which helps us when we've got, actually we hit the wall about that problem we're having. So you go and ask how do you go around with that problem, and then we come up and solve that problem. Cishe kuleli site lelo kungaba ukuthi ema-companies lakhona push in such a way ukuthi bring the right equipment to stop the Swazis from going to South Africa to do that job, and then that is a bit expensive for them. Well, the machines are here. It means they can get that product very cheap. There is a lot that the young people can do on that side, especially now. The world is moving from the old machines to the new machines. So the young people, they must equip themselves to face that situation, because now most of companies now, they don't want many people. They only just one person will operate that machine, which is available. So if young people can go for those opportunities, I think that will help the country to move forward, because actually everything it's moving forward and to use the old things. Actually, see now engineering schools like Kaya, but there are not many. There are just few. That is Voktim and Scott, which that actually it limits the young people from going furthermore knowledge, because these colleges are still a bit low. Government angecabanga introduce article literature tibe tinenala, so that the young people, they've got chances, or they've got choices to go to do the science on that one, instead of going to South Africa or somewhere else. Ngicabanga ukuthi they are very important to equip the young people on that side, so that when the seniors are going out of the field, the young people, they can take over from them. As we know that science and mathematics, those are the very important side. Even on the engineering side, science is maths is very important, because there are so many calculations that we actually engage when we are doing some of the jobs.
My name is Aldo Parkin, and